Muy buenos días a todos ustedes y muy buenos días también a mi mujer que se está a punto de despertar con mi hermosa voz y yo sé, las dos damas que están viendo este video están muertas de celos porque con esta voz de despertado, uf, uf, uf. Espero que estén muy bien. Me llamo Alejandro Salomón y bienvenidos al Casino del Tío Salo. ¿Cómo de que no? Ahorita vamos a traerles al gran Farhan, al gran Alex también para que podamos compartir todas estas tablas con ustedes. Recuerden, mándenos absolutamente lo que gusten y acá lo vamos a analizar. Una tabla por persona porque son demasiadas personas. Hacemos un bastante in-depth análisis de todo, o sea, nos metemos hasta la cocina. Bueno, Alex y Farhan, su tío Salo no tiene que hacer nada, solamente tiene que traducir estas cosas y eso es lo que hacemos. Si quieren unirse al Discord, que es absolutamente gratis, les dejo acá el enlace, está también en la descripción. Y si quieren tradear futuros de Bitcoin o criptomonedas con nosotros, tenemos dos exchanges también que están abajo, Bluffin y BitGet. Bluffin funciona en Estados Unidos y en todo el mundo y no requiere KYC, eso quiere decir que no requiere identificación. Y BitGet sí requiere identificación, funciona en todos lados menos en Estados Unidos y tiene mejores fees. O sea, es una por otra, ¿no? Pero tampoco es como que, uy, es una locura la diferencia. Pero en fin, si quieren, aquí está el Discord, es completamente gratis para que vengan a platicar con nosotros. En lo que les digo rapidísimo antes de que lleguen Alex y Farhan, porque se ve también la cosa para Bitcoin en estos momentos, en mi opinión, y ahorita vamos a darle un análisis bastante potente y donde muchos de ustedes van a poder hacer bastante dinero, en mi opinión, como en el Discord han estado imprimiendo con estos calls de estos tíos. Felicidades a todos nosotros, honestamente, porque nadie te regala dinero y estoy muy orgulloso de todos ustedes, cabrones. Son unos genios y hay algunos maestros por ahí, y los vamos a sacar pronto enfrente de todos ustedes. Pero bueno, les estaba diciendo esto de Bitcoin. ¿Por qué? Porque yo relaciono Bitcoin demasiado con la liquidez mundial. Cuando hay exceso de liquidez es cuando vemos que Bitcoin le va mejor, cuando se comporta mejor y cuando hace lo que tiene que hacer. Y en este momento en todo el mundo estamos creando nuevos excesos de liquidez, empezando por China. Ustedes todos saben que China acaba de imprimir y está a punto de regalar 500,000 millones de dólares en su propia moneda. Esto para incentivar a gente para comprar segundas casas, para incentivar a gente a tener más de 2 hijos y también para imprimir literalmente dinero para darle a la población que está considerada en pobreza extrema. Esto es bastante alcista, si me preguntan a mí, en China, y esto también ha tenido un resurgimiento en todas las acciones de China. Si voltean a ver la Hang Seng, todos los índices están hasta el tope y están literalmente teniendo una semana, la mejor semana que han tenido desde 1980 y cacho. Eso te dice, te pone en la mesa algo bastante interesante. Pero ese es un exceso de liquidez. Este exceso de liquidez tiene que irse a algún lado y hemos visto una y otra vez, no importa aunque nos digan que no es liquidez entrante al mercado, como cuando lo hicieron con la ventana de liquidez para los bancos, acabó actuando como liquidez, por más que se estaban peleando con cripto y estaban diciéndonos, no, no te metas a cripto, no. Lo que aprendimos de ese movimiento fue cada que nos digan cripto no, es cripto sí, cuando nos digan cripto sí, cripto no. Y en este momento nadie está pelando cripto, todo el mundo está muy ocupado peleándose por qué candidato va a ganar qué, así que muchas felicidades a todo el mundo. Y al rato que los ven, nadie me preguntó, vamos a hablar de una locura para todos ustedes que se me hacía sospechosa lo que está pasando en Nueva York. Ahorita le damos sin más ni más. Pero sí, por ahorita, personalmente, sin darme un análisis de tablas de arriba para abajo, simplemente ver la liquidez expandirse, eso es bastante buena señal para cripto. Ahora, no te estoy diciendo que de aquí a 7 años no va a empezar a bajar, no va a corregir, pero mínimo los movimientos a corto plazo se ven bastante bien, se ve bastante alcista. Ahora traemos a Farhan para que nos enseñe todos sus medidas de liquidez, de precio, etcétera, para poder darle con todo, para que él nos diga qué tanto momentum, qué tanta volatilidad estamos encontrando, cuáles son las zonas a ver, dónde te quieres meter, dónde hay buenas oportunidades, dónde no quieres entrar. Eso es todo lo que les vamos a dar el día de hoy. Como ya saben, simplemente lo que nosotros estamos haciendo, esto no es consejo de inversión, es simplemente un poco de entretenimiento en la mañana y además una buena clase para todos, porque como saben, ese es nuestro objetivo acá, poder enseñarle a la mayor cantidad de gente a ser autónoma en todo esto de trading para que todos ustedes puedan hacer una maldita fortuna, pero tenemos que entender, todo esto viene incluyendo riesgo y tienes que aprender poco a poco, así que si eres de los que están aprendiendo apenas, recomiendo que lo hagas con posiciones muy pequeñas, que no te duela la cartera, porque vas a perder al principio, toma bastante tiempo. Entonces, ponte métricas y di, al día que me vuelva, ponte tú, que le dé a 7 de 10, ese día ya puedo meter toda mi lana fuerte. pero hasta entonces voy a hacerlo poco a poco, o también puedes hacerlo con simulaciones, por cierto, pero personalmente me gusta poner tantito dinero en el asador, y la razón por qué es porque me importa más que una simulación. En la simulación es muy fácil simplemente perderte en el, me da igual. Otra cosa que tenemos que apreciar es la bajada del dólar a corto plazo, y esa se está dando en este momento. Tenemos que ver cómo va a reaccionar el oro, que hasta ahorita se está quedando un poco plano, pero el petróleo del otro lado está bajando como loco. Ahora, lo del petróleo y todo el mundo, incluyendo a mí mismo, es algo que dices, bueno, normalmente en una recesión, antes de una recesión, esto es lo que pasa, etcétera. Pero también el precio del petróleo está siendo manipulado de a madre porque son elecciones. ¿Y qué le interesa a Estados Unidos y a los demócratas, sobre todo, que están en poder ahorita y que claramente no se quieren salir y están dispuestos a asesinar a alguien para no salirse? Quieren que todo el mundo crea que todo está bien. Entonces, mercado para arriba, petróleo para abajo, gasolina para abajo. Y sí, sé lo que se están preguntando. ¿Qué no pudieron haber hecho esto hace 3 años? Sí, pero así de tontos creen que somos todos. Así que, ojo ahí. Tesorería está simplemente recuperando, bueno, los bonos están recuperándose. Eso quiere decir que los rendimientos de los bonos están otra vez bajando, y no se preocupen para todos los que lo vieron despegar y decir, ¿qué va a pasar ahora? Van a seguir bajando. Este es un movimiento bastante natural en los mercados porque la bajada, básicamente el movimiento de bajada lo tomamos antes, que es el previo, pero todavía no se da el movimiento entero de la bajada. Todavía no reparten esa bajada, todavía no siguen la segunda fase con los siguientes 50 puntos básicos, que es el 0.5%, etcétera. Entonces, siempre y cuando lo estén haciendo así de lento, vas a tener este tipo de movimientos, que no es tan lento, es bastante rápido, honestamente. Vas a tener este tipo de movimientos en tesorerías donde parece que quieren despegar, pero no lo van a hacer. Van a ir más para abajo los rendimientos de los bonos, garantizado. ¿Por qué? Porque la Reserva Federal está bajando tipos. Entonces, sin más ni más, tengo a Farhan, tengo a Alex por acá. Vamos a empezar como de que no. My boys, good morning. How are you?
Good morning, dude. We
Good
finally
morning.
have electricity.
Yeah.
By the way, while you guys are now enjoying of that, all of the East Coast is completely fucked right now.
Fucking losers. We already dealt with it for the last 2 days.
And
Yeah,
I was first.
I think it's category 4 now. I think around Miami. I'm not sure though. It was only category 1 here, so wasn't too bad.
Thank God. Yeah, it's getting crazy up north. I mean, in Miami, the people that I watch on YouTube that are on the East Coast, all of them are like, we're fucked, guys. Like, they're all streaming from their phones and barely fucking getting through it. So I'm glad that it's over where you guys are, that everything is fine, and that you guys got that new kitty. So let us motherfucking get into this. I already did as you can tell, join the Discord, whatnot. So I already did a shill. I think we can start, no problem. And the first one's going to be Enovix. Who wants to do that one? And the second one's going to be Roku.
Before we start,
Yes, sir.
I gotta get your opinion on something.
Okay.
What do you think? What do you think about my man Donald Trump's new $100,000 tourbillon watches?
Oh, it's 100,000. Wow.
They're the best watches. I don't know if I can scream yet because my wife is asleep. But dude, that's honestly, can I tell you something? Donald Trump is following my steps. Put out the NFTs, then he put out his NFTs. I put out a watch line, he puts out the watch line. No.
Except his watches are fucking $100,000.
How many are they making?
147, I think.
That's pretty cool. And who's making them?
No idea, to be honest.
I think that's the secret. If it's made by a proper Swiss watchmaker,
it's not,
dude.
It's not.
It can't just be a retarded fucking watch like a Casio Insights. For $100,000, you gotta throw me like at least some good movements, whatnot. Like the one that we have on the Drift on Gorilla, the movement on that, you cannot get a watch from that watchmaker that creates that movement for under 30,000 euros. It's impossible. And we sell that shit for $3,200. Obviously, we're a different type of brand. We're adding value to the chain. And obviously, the connection of the CEO and founder is what enables us to do that. I doubt that Donald Trump's going to have a hard time finding something like that so that he can add to the watch. Although he does like to sell things for way more than they're worth. But again, if he includes one of those moves or the one that we have on the chrono, which is our most expensive piece, even at that level with the one that we make, the chrono, I'd be happy with the $100,000. I'm sure it's gold, right? It's made out of gold. It's not like a Casio gold.
18 karat gold.
Oh,
and it's Donald Trump. He's about to be the
You
president.
know what? The one thing that makes it worth $100,000 is just how much it'll piss people off if you wear it in public.
Oh, can you imagine? Can you imagine? Dude, I drive a Cybertruck. I get people flipping me off now almost every weekend. I'm like, what the fuck is going on with people? Like, since when did they think just because someone is driving whatever car that they like that they can just go like this? But I'm used to that. I'm sorry. I'm already on that bad.
I'm guessing in 1 month you've gotten more people going like this than in like the, what is it, 2 years you had that acid green 918?
Oh, no doubt. No, dude. On the acid green, no one gave me the finger. On this is like people throw their car at me. They block me to not go through. Like, it's insane. I've actually never experienced anything like that. And Alex, I've had some insane cars that are so annoying and stupid. And even then, no one ever cared. On this,
Nobody
murder me.
Nobody gave you the finger for that unicorn Jizz Aventador?
No, they would just say it's ridiculous, but no one gave me the finger. I'm telling you, this is completely different. I've never seen anything like this. Never. So interesting. Also living in California, and where I live, it's all Republicans too. So I don't understand why there's so many like little gay twats doing that shit. But hey,
yeah, makes sense, huh? I mean, it's just like ever since Elon kind of became more like a free thinker in the sense that he tried to buy, he did buy X, and he's been more vocal, at least with his beliefs. You kind of seen or saw the system kind of go against him. News articles against him constantly, more than usual. More litigation problems. And
I just don't understand how it's not obvious to everyone that's like watching. Like, you guys saw what happened to the mayor in New York, that they're going after him and they want to like because to me, as they're going after the mayor of New York, and then I hear the news that they're going after him because he was given $10 million by someone, and I don't know what. That's what all politicians do. So instantly I was like, I need to look this up. Why are they looking for the man? And then he's just like against the illegal immigrants coming in. And he's like, we need to fix this. And that was it. So how are people not noticing what they're doing on purpose? It's crazy that they're destroying these people like Elon, like this mayor, like whoever gets in the way of whatever their plan and whatever makes them money is. Like, they go and attack. It's crazy. Like, to me, it's crazy. And those people are the ones giving me the finger in my Cybertruck, which, look, if you don't like the car, that's fine. I understand. I've had many cars that are stupid, and I understand that it's not for everyone. But, like, who needs their opinion while I'm driving on the road? Like, I'm just passing by. I don't understand. All righty. Anything else we'd like to discuss before we jump into the charts?
Yeah, that was me right around like, I want to say 2016 when I first got my first Model S, before anybody knew what Tesla was. So everybody used to just stare.
Yeah.
So like whenever I used to drive around in my Model S, people used to stare. And there was this one time where this one guy in like a heavily modded pickup truck, it's like an F-150. I'm pretty sure a bro had like turbos in it. It was sounding crazy. He was trying to race me. So like, of course, I'm a retard, so I raced him back. And I kicked his ass every single time.
And they get so mad.
And then we pulled up to a stoplight, and bro pulls a rifle out on me.
Wow, this is why in Texas I don't fuck with anyone, dude. I let anyone abuse me on the road. Like, they get mad. I'm like, yes, sir, no problem, because y'all motherfuckers got guns. I don't play with that.
This dude was like, he was like, you want to try that shit again? He's like, try that shit again.
Yeah, exactly. No, let you go, sir. You won. You won the race. Thank you.
I did two things. First thing is I had my hand on my Glock. The second thing was I pulled a U-turn and I got the fuck out of there.
As you should have. I'm glad nothing else happened. Jesus Christ. Jesus. All righty. Let's get to the chart. Enovix. Interesting.
Yeah, this has been an interesting chart, especially on the monthly. So like what we had like 2 months ago here, nice shooting star, 2 actual reversal and follows through. On this kind of, in this monthly is closing in 3 days. So what we have now is just we're kind of trekking up to this EMA9 on the monthly. It's been a big point of rejection. After we lost it the last time, we see the loss here, and then rallies up to the 9 and the 21. We're often rejected. So for me, that's just the area I'm going to be watching while we go into this monthly closure, because I do think it's going to be important to see kind of where this closes. Does it turn into a hammerhead on the monthly? Often, at least a sign of reversal in a downtrend, or when we're just going down, let's say, or are we just going to rally up to the EMA 9 on the monthly, reject there, and then end up going down, solidifying just the downtrend and possibly breaking even this low here at $6.30. One thing that's interesting about the monthly too is we see BBWP it's still coming down, but it is starting to base here. So it's interesting to see that, especially when this chart's already been pretty volatile, especially to the downside. Just many weeks of down, almost like putting in a bear flag here on the weekly. But honestly, with all this price action, nothing's really changed. We're still rejecting even the weekly 9. And the weekly is actually quite interesting to me because, as you can see, we actually had a silver cross to the downside on this weekly with the 21 going under the 55. And it's supported by the 9. So we know it is valid. The last time this happened was around here, which did end up leading to a bigger dump from that silver cross at this point. So it's interesting to see that now because it is fresh, actually. Ideally, it plays into what we're seeing on the monthly as well, which is any rallies up to this 9 should get rejected. Currently sitting right around that $10 region, which I find that interesting because we go to the monthly. It's not too far off from the monthly 9. And I know some people like viewing the EMA 5, which is fine. You can view the EMA 5 to be like a front running of the 9. But even there, that shows us here still that $10.80 to $11 region. So in my opinion, that's going to be a big spot to watch for this weekly and then also the monthly. Let me see here. If Enovix can start reclaiming the in my opinion, the weekly 9 and start holding it again, to me, then that could at least fuel us to test the 34 right at $11. And then if it does go and reclaim the 34, especially on a weekly closure, that is currently sitting at $10.94. So for me, then that would mean that the weekly and the monthly has reclaimed the 9, which would be a welcoming sign because especially we just know that this chart likes to go down and reject the 34 often. So if it can start doing that and reclaiming it, especially on a weekly, for me, it invalidates the silver cross to the downside. But also then it would just possibly give us a nice deviation, especially when you do view it on a monthly here. Let's see here. So we can see, it's not a good sign that it lost its EMA 9 on the monthly. It hasn't flirted with it on the upside or reclaimed it many times. But this is just ugly. Reversal candle on the monthly leading to that actual follow through. Yes, now we're bouncing, almost reached the support line at $6.42. So what bulls are going to be trying to look for is this to get a sustained rally up, so it can possibly break the downtrend. It's just a higher low in the making, all unconfirmed in my opinion, especially when we still are just we're still rejecting, almost forming a doji, but not fully. But not fully even reaching the monthly 9. And that is the first point we have to look at because as history has shown us, especially right at this point, anytime it did lose it, the rallies up to the 21 and the 9 were just short opportunities each and every time until we reclaimed it. So, seeing that deviation and follow through wasn't good. But I do think that Enovix can still rally up a little bit more. But I don't think it's going to, like I said, especially with the weekly and the monthly, now it kind of comes more together on the daily, in my opinion, especially when we see here that, we have a good point of resistance here around that $10.80. I do have a meme line here at $12, $11.98, $12. But in my opinion, I do think that this point first is going to be a big area of congestion. We're just getting a lot of big time frames telling us that this point is, that 1080 lines up exactly with that weekly EMA 9. And then, right above it, $11 is that monthly 9. Now we're having that daily EMA 100 along with that SMA 200 too. And we see here, it does like to chop around it, but generally speaking, anytime, especially it reclaims the EMA 100, it's led to big moves up, this green line here. And then anytime it's lost it, it's essentially, led to pretty big dumps. Even when we saw it here, lost it, rallied up, rejected, and then just full on came down. So if you're bullish on this, what bulls essentially want here, is just to start forming some structure, especially on the daily, because then that'll bleed into the weekly. This isn't a downtrend, and ideally, what you want is just to be is structure to form consolidation, especially when we see the weekly BBWP almost hitting extremes, not fully, but it's starting to curve down now, so it can reset, especially when we are approaching resistance, but we still can go more. It's something to be mindful of, because if you're bullish, you'd want this to start consolidating. Ideally, it doesn't break the low it formed on September 9th, and then it just consolidation above that low. We'll fully reset this, and then ideally, then that leads into the daily catching a more sustained bid. Maybe that happens once it breaks this high here at $10.30, which would mean we're pretty healthily above the 34. But then, we then can't disregard this daily resistance. BBWP is pretty low. It's still contracting, so there's that. And that's why I think it could play into, especially with the weekly kind of consolidating, letting the daily reset as well. As it stands, though, this chart, unless you're trading really low time frames, like a 4 hour, which hopefully this will load. There we go. You're still getting that point and area right around kind of where we're at. That you would know that yes, we are approaching major resistance. If you're trading this, you can use the 4 hour as a gauge, or the daily even. Big level we're approaching that is CME 100, especially for Enovix. If it can actually reclaim that, especially on a daily, let's say, if it can reclaim this, and we do have to look at this $11.90 to $12 region, and then at that point we'll be pressing a major high there. So if we start breaking that high, in my opinion, it starts potentially shifting things, which can bleed into the weekly trend actually flipping. Something we are seeing kind of with risk on assets like Bitcoin do currently. But as it stands, we are still approaching resistance. Watch the weekly EMA 9, because we do have that silver cross, and just be patient with this chart, because if you are bullish, like I said, you just want us to consolidate. That'll reset BBWP and then potentially give bulls more momentum to break out from the zone, actually testing this $12 high, I guess, right here. We just can't disregard this silver cross to the downside, which is supported by the 9. So it is, solidified. If we break this 9, then the second spot for resistance would be this 21 here, and as it stands, it's at $10.76. So a lot of areas of confluence around that $10.80 to even $11 resistance we should watch closely, because that could be just another opportunity to short potentially, as history has shown us, or a big flip could happen there, and then that could give bulls more a leg up to go higher.
Sounds fucking amazing, and agreed. So after we'll do Bitcoin, Farhan's doing Roku. I'll translate this, and let's get to it. So I'm sure you both are going to do Bitcoin, so might as well just wait it out. All righty. Estamos viendo Enovix rápidamente en la semanal, pero los quiero llevar a la tabla mensual, que es de las primeras cosas donde nos llevó Alex, y es donde tenemos que poner atención. Hay varias cosas que están pasando enfrente de nosotros, ¿ok? Vienes en una tendencia claramente bajista, no creo que tengamos que ser genios para entender esto. Estás viendo altos más bajos, bajos más bajos, pero empiezas a formar estructura acá. Si no rompes este bajo acá en los 7.29, empieza a verse bastante bien. Ahora, tuviste esta vela de tope justamente aquí y eso te dio este movimiento a la baja. Perdiste el promedio de las 9, el promedio de las 21, que es el amarillo, y de ahí el precio continuó a la baja. Y esto es en la mensual y esto va a cerrar en 3 días y 6 horas. Se me hace bastante importante que no cerremos abajo esto en 3 días, de los 9.36. Abajo de los 9.36 te estaría confirmando esta vela que sigue y continuará el movimiento para abajo, así que tienes que tener un ojo justamente ahí. Antes de irme a la semanal, quiero enseñarles la de 2 semanas. En la de 2 semanas podemos ver cómo el 9 cruzó hacia abajo el 21, lo que nos da una señal de debilidad. Tuviste este doble tope que es de libro, básicamente, y eso en qué resultó en esta caída. Es importantísimo que aguantemos este nivel y no hagamos un nuevo bajo, porque si haces un nuevo bajo, rompes la estructura, continúa la tendencia bajista y básicamente vas a empezar a buscar en otro lado qué hacer. Pero empiecen a poner esto en su mente. Vean dónde está el promedio de las 9 en las 2 semanas. 10.53, que está junto a esta línea que tengo yo acá de soporte o resistencia, dependiendo en dónde esté el precio y cómo se encuentre con él, en los 10.70. Yo creo que todos deberían de tener esa línea ahí para Enovix. Y puedes ver cómo el promedio de las 21 también está por ahí de los 10.76 y el del 55 en la semanal está en los 11.28. Esta zona y va a seguir bajando siempre y cuando el precio se encuentre por acá, lo que les va a permitir bajar y al precio probablemente rebotar y tomar eso. Pero podemos ver que aquí probablemente hay bastante confluencia en este número y va a haber un rebote. Normalmente cuando estás en una mensual abajo de la 9, como lo estamos ahorita, aunque le estoy enseñando la semanal, y tienes un cruce plateado a la baja, como se dio acá, el 55 está arriba del 21, el 21 se fue abajo, que es el amarillo. Eso te demuestra bastante debilidad y que cualquier oportunidad en realidad está en contra de el precio a favor. ¿A qué me refiero? A que cada que vaya a encontrarse con la 9 es una oportunidad de hacer corto, hacer corto, hacer corto. Y también cuando lo ves en la diaria puedes ver acá, que acá nos empieza a pintar otra fotografía, pero puedes ver el promedio de las 200 está en los 10.66, justo en mi línea blanca acá. El promedio de las 100 está en 10.78, justo acá. Y eso va a ser importante. Si llegamos llegar a los 10.67, estaríamos sacando este alto, creando un alto más alto y empezamos a poner estructura acá y a formar, ¿cómo se dice? A formar estructura alcista, pero tenemos que confirmar, básicamente tu nivel de confirmación está arriba de los 11.67 y a checar que puedas romper acá los 10.42. Hasta el momento esto se ve bajista, en cortas temporalidades se ve que está empezando a tomar vuelo, pero a largo mediano plazo en este momento, en la de 2 semanas, la de mensual, no se ve tan bien la cosa. Así que atención con estos niveles en Enovix, dependiendo de lo que quieras. Si eres alcista, quieres poder romper este alto en los 10.42, poder consolidar arriba de los 10.70 y empezar a treparte encima de todos estos promedios. Si eres bajista, simplemente en la semanal y con toda la confluencia que existe, cuando llegues por acá de los 10 a armar un corto. Así de fácil, señores. Vámonos con Roku. Whenever you're ready, señor.
I remember to unmute myself.
Oh, good for you. Dude, it's Friday. It's Friday again, and Saturday.
I'm sorry, but I gotta say this, and I apologize for the cringe. It's Friday.
Oh no! You know that Belen styled that girl Rebecca Black for a couple of things.
Did she?
Yeah. She's actually really sweet. I felt so bad because when I met her is when all the shit was like everyone was fucking destroying her, and yeah, and she was just a sweet little girl, and she was just getting fucking pounded, not in a sexual way, by everyone. Not good.
I still have a whole bunch of Salomon by Berlin clothes, but I gotta say, they are currently a size extra large, and now I am a size small to extra small, so none of it fits me anymore.
I'll convince her to create more clothing for us. I wear the same shit all the time, so might as well just create
just make some stuff in extra small, and I'm all over it.
I'm down. You want to share Roku? There you go. I'm gonna go pee. I'll be right back, but I'm listening to you.
I still have this old fib that I drew earlier. I don't remember the last time that we pulled up Roku. I feel like it was a couple of weeks ago. But right now, we are currently getting over the golden pocket right here at the 61.8%, 65%. We close over it. Right now, like the only thing we have as resistance is this 100 EMA on this weekly, which is at currently like what price is that? $80.60, $80.65 area, which also lines up very closely with this 38.2% at $79.64. If we were to get a close over this area at the 38.2% and over the 100 EMA, my next logical target will be the 200 SMA, which also is very close to this fib right here. I believe this is the 1.618. The 200 SMA lines up perfectly with this 100% HPDR range. This one is at right around $153. Basically, it's 153.02. I would look for this to be our next resistance area, but I would think that we will probably wick past here and touch this 1.618 Fibonacci extension, right around like $186.10 roughly. But I don't think it's going to close above that. I think it's going to probably reject this area, probably close below here, because this is the 100% range. So you have literally 0% chance of continuation from there if you want to be a betting man, if you want to go based off statistics. So very likely we find some type of local top somewhere around $153 to possibly up to $185 area. And if we go down to our HBDR momentum, the HBDRO, which is the directional volatility, usually volatility only tells you like if you're going to have a big move in one direction or the other, but it doesn't tell you which way it's going to go. This indicator kind of puts that in a bias, and it gives you the momentum. So it's called the HBDRO. I call it the HBDR momentum. So right now it is kind of turning down a little bit. It's not exactly a nail in the coffin just yet, because it's still within the 70, like it's above the 50 area. It's like this area right here is what I consider the bullish control zone. So it's still within the bullish control zone. So I still consider it to be bullish as of right now. And the volatility is dropping down as well. So whatever move we get, whatever volatility is dropping down, it's going to tell you that that's going to be very likely is going to be a corrective move. And then right here, if you look at the jewel is the pink is crossing above the yellow, and the oscillator is switching to a light blue cyan signal. This is like, it's not the best way to say it's a buy signal or a sell signal, but I prefer to call it a buy signal. And it is crossing above the 60, which is the bullish control zone. So right now the jewel is entering into the bullish control zone, and the pink is crossing above the yellow. So it's telling you that the jewel is giving you I hate to say a buy signal, because it's very like it's not very straightforward. Whenever you say buy signal on the jewel, everybody says, oh, so it must mean it's going straight up. So they all go like, I've seen it on the Discord. Whenever I post the jewels on a buy signal, everybody's like, oh, it's time to go in. I'm buying, I'm going leverage. But the jewel is a lagging indicator. So it can show you a buy signal while we're at resistance. And the jewel will look bullish as fuck while we're at resistance. And then it'll end up rejecting, and then this will switch over to a neutral and then a sell signal. But right now, because we are above all of our major fib areas, and we're still above the 5 EMA, and the momentum is still within the bullish control zone, I see this as a buy signal. And I would see this as a opportunity zone. So to where like right now we have a silver, we're about to get a silver cross. As long as we're still above this 55 EMA, which is at $68.80 area roughly, as long as we're closing above that, we're going to confirm the silver cross. And then what we should be looking for is a correction down if we get it to the 9 EMA, which right now is at $68.80. Oh, inshallah, it will go up within the next day or two, and then it will be at $69. And then we can get a retest of the 9 EMA, because usually whenever you get a silver cross, what you're looking for is a retest of the 9 EMA, whether it's a silver cross to the upside or a downside. You want to get in on the 9 EMA. So right now we don't have that yet. We don't even have the silver cross. But as long as we're above this area, we're going to get the silver cross. And the HBDR momentum is telling me that we're probably going to get that silver cross. And then I would look for a retest of the 9 EMA. If we don't get the retest of the 9 EMA, I would rather sit out, because in my opinion, at that point, it would be one of those extremity trades where you're getting in on the wrong side, where you're trying to long it before you get the retest of the 9 EMA. I'd rather just sit on the sidelines and have it go up to the 200 SMA rather than get in right now. What I would prefer is to have this consolidate and go sideways a little bit, especially because of the volatility going down, while these ranges move up. And then once we get the silver cross confirmed, at that point, I would take a more high confidence trade at the 9 EMA. But right now, we're just waiting for the confirmation. We're waiting for the back test of this 5 EMA. And right now, we are getting like not the best looking candle. This can be considered a hanging man candle, because we're working from an uptrend. So people will be like, oh, this is an inverted, this is a hammer candle. The reason why it's not a hammer candle is because you're working from an uptrend. The only way to actually get a hammer candle is you have to be coming from a downtrend. And because we're coming from an uptrend, the hammer candle is not a hammer, it's a hanging man, and it's more of a reversal pattern. So what we're waiting for right now is to see how this weekly closes. If it closes like this, we're very likely going to come down a little bit, probably touch this 38.2%, which right now is at around $65.50. And at that point, these ranges will probably move up. This 21 EMA will move up a little bit higher. At that point, probably it'll cross up to 55, and then we can get our retest of the 9 EMA. But until then, we're just speculating. Let me switch to the monthly. My HPDR disappeared.
Great.
I'm working without my indicator.
How is that even possible?
It doesn't really matter. But right now on the monthly, right now, if you look at Roku on the monthly, we rejected this golden pocket like the last time around. This is where we made our previous lower high, right around the 61.8%. We closed above it for a little bit, then we quickly deviated below it again, and then we retested it and we rejected it. And there goes my HPDR. So right now on the monthly, we are above the 50%. The 50% is not a real Fibonacci number. It's more of a Gann number. I don't know if you guys know who Gann is. Gann is like a guy who he's like one of the most legendary traders of all time. I don't know.
Yeah, right. That's the one that you told us about.
I don't know what his first name is, but his last name is Gann. So he has the 50% rule. So whenever you cross above or below the 50%, it tells you that you're on the verge of a breakout or a breakdown. So right now we are currently above the 50%, and what I'd love to see is that the 50% lines right up with HPDR median. The HPDR median is at $68, and the 50% is at $72. So they're just right next to each other. If we close over the median, you have a statistical probability of hitting this top 38.2%. And right now, that 38.2% is another retest of this golden pocket, which is at $93.50 roughly. So if we're able to close over this median, we're very likely going to retest this golden pocket and the 55 EMA and the 38.2%. And because we've already tested it so many times before, this next test is going to be very very much weaker, and it's not going to be as strong of a resistance. And if you look at the HPDR momentum right now, it is breaking out into the positive territory. Before it was like negative, very negative. Let's see if there's any divergence here, to be honest. Because usually you can use the HPDRO for divergences. So you have a close here of $63.18. Then you have a close here of $59. So there's no divergence here. I was thinking there might be some hidden bullish divergences, but there is not. But as long as we're above the median, I have to consider this to be bullish. If we close below the median, though, then it's going to completely flip around, and then we're going to very likely test this bottom 38.2%, which is right now at $51, like 60-cent area. But as long as we're above the median, we have to assume that we're going to retest this top 38.2% and the 55 EMA. And if we close over the 55 EMA, we're very likely going to come up to towards this 50% range right here on the Fibonacci extension I drew, which is at right around $137. And it makes me feel uncomfortable to say it because it's so much higher than what price is right now. That is right around like an 85% move up from here. So it makes me uncomfortable to say it. I'm not saying this is not financial advice. I'm not saying we're going to go there. But as long as we're above this median, this becomes a statistical probability. Now let's check the RSI and see if there's any divergences.
It's so weird that all these levels that you're saying, I have them already marked up and they coincide in different temporalities with different EMAs. The 2-week is pretty telling.
That's how you know it's a good TA. Whenever we're coming at it from a completely different approach.
Yeah.
So here, right here on the monthly RSI, we do have a drive of confirmed hit bullish divergence, regular bullish divergence, right at the neutral zone, the middle zone. We are getting. I'm not going to lie. Close your eyes, bulls. This is a little bit of a head and shoulders on the RSI.
Yeah, it does. Tremendous.
And the neckline, we're already below the neckline. So if we get a closure below here, this head and shoulders is going to confirm. We're probably going to come down to this bearish control zone. And right now, the caretaker's RSI tells you that the bearish control zone sits at $59.18. I would look for on this monthly closure for us to not reject this 21 EMA. If we do reject this 21 EMA, very likely because last time we tested it here, rejected it, we deviated it. So if you reject this 21 EMA again, it's not going to be the most bullish sign. It's probably going to be leaning towards the bearish sign signals. But right now, it's looking pretty strong. And if we do close above this 21 EMA, we're very likely going to come up to this meme line that I drew right here, which is right around the 55 EMA, which is at roughly $98 or $100 area, like which is a psychological number. And right around $100, I feel like we're probably going to get some type of reaction. Either we're going to get a rejection and we're going to nuke from $100, or we're going to blast past right through $100. And if you look at the VMP is basically like the jewel, but it adds like a volatility aspect to it. It's flipping around right now, and it's flipping from this dark blue cell into like a neutral white, and we're getting volatility expansion as well. So we're waiting for the next monthly open is to get this white flip to a light blue cyan like here, and it's going to make a higher low on the jewel right here, and it's technically is going to be getting out of the bearish control zone as well, because this gray line right here is the bearish control zone. So if we get out of the bearish control zone, it's going to be a trend shift in what we've been having for the past couple of months on Roku, where we've been in the bearish control zone for like the longest time. We've been in the bearish control zone since May of 2024, so we've been in there for a couple of months. And we have this, we don't have a lot of data right now, but for as much data as we do have, we have the silver cross on the downside of the monthly. So if we do get above this 21 EMA, and then we test this meme line right here around the 55, and we close above this 55 at $98.50, the silver cross is going to be invalidated. And then very likely we're going to come up towards this previous rejective high right here, right around, I'm sorry to say this is not financial advice, but it's $265.
Damn. Damn. By the way, we'll check out PayPal just on my own accord at some point, because I think PayPal is bullish as fuck. We'll talk about it, because I feel like there's a lot of delta there.
And right now on the weekly, we were at 0, like on the BBWP, which is the Bollinger Bands percentile. It takes the Bollinger Bands and it gives you a number for volatility. We've been at 0 volatility for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Right around 12 weeks, we've been at 0 volatility for 12 weeks. And now we're expanding from 0 volatility. And while we're expanding from 0 volatility, we're getting a move towards the upside. So volatility is supporting this move to the upside, and right now we're only at 36% on volatility. So volatility doesn't like to tap out until we're somewhere around the high 80s or the 90% range. So we have a lot more room to go on volatility for this move to continue going up. But as long as we're rejecting this 100 EMA, I would have to be more on the cautious side, and I would not be taking any new positions around this area. I would more likely just be taking profits from longs that I've taken right around whenever the 9 cross above the 21. So whatever longs I've taken there, I would be taking profits around this area, and I would be de-risking. But as soon as we close above this 100 EMA, that's when I would start getting into new positions, and I would have a closure below this 100 EMA as my stop loss. And I would be looking for somewhere around this 200 and this meme line, which is right now at like $96 to $98 area. And then the $98 to $100 area would be my next psychological target for a take profit. But once again, this is not financial advice. I don't give financial advice. I'm a retard.
That makes two of us.
If we look on the 5-day, we currently have invalidated the silver cross to the downside. We've closed above this 55 EMA. We got a little bit of a move down, and now we're getting some bid here. As long as we keep getting buy action here, I want to see a close above this candle's open right here, which is right around $79.47. Let's say $79.50. If we get that, in my opinion, we're probably going to close over this 100 EMA, and we're probably going to retest test this 200 again. That's where I would take profits again. I would not be entering. The only trade I would enter around this area is I would probably take like a low confidence short here, maybe 2-3x leverage. And I would have my stop loss at any close above this meme line, like $98.50. But to be safe, I would probably put it at $100, maybe 101.
Yeah, because loves to hit those fucking even numbers and then get rejected.
Oh yeah. This market does not want you to make any money at all.
Nope.
So if we do get a move up here and reject, that would be a very high confidence short for me to retest this 100, which is right around $82. And that would be a pretty sizable trade. This would be like around 15%. 15%, not too bad. If you look at the people who trade on Wall Street, like the Goldman Sachs dudes, they are ecstatic to make 7% a year.
Oh yeah. No, if you
So-
can get those type of returns, you're good.
15% in 2 or 3 days for them is like unheard of. They'll call you a god.
They're all sitting in their fucking mega loaded offices with insane buildings with insane cars, just pulling 7% a year, motherfuckers.
Buddy pulls up in the most shitty streets in New York City in their McLaren P1s going to their finance firms.
Oh fuck yeah.
Did you hear about how McLaren is going to announce their P1 successor on October 6th?
No, I saw that. Yeah, you sent that on the chat, but I honestly didn't click on it. I can't remember what the fuck I was doing, and I totally forgot. So they're gonna announce it now, October 6th.
Yeah, there's already a couple of people I follow who have gotten their allocations.
Oh yeah, of course. The little fucking suck my dick game. And
Yeah,
I'll
the
give you some.
people who suck their dicks all the time.
It's crazy, right? That you would imagine that you get rich and you don't have to suck anyone's dick, but these people get rich and they're like, how can I suck a dick? I know. Let me go beg people to buy a car. I know they're $2 million, but let me beg them. Like that is the craziest thing I've ever seen.
You know who's the most skilled dick sucker of all time?
There are so many of them, but go ahead.
Manny Kosh.
Yeah, he's pretty good. He's pretty good.
All right, so we did have this little bit of a kind of a head and shoulders, but it's a Quasimodo head and shoulders. It's a bastardized head and shoulders, but we have invalidated it because we've crossed above the head and we're within the bullish control zone right now, and we do have 3 drives of bullish divergence. So as long as we're within this bullish control zone on the RSI, we do have to consider that the bulls are in control. Until we drop below, right now it tells you the bullish control zone is at $70.24. So we drop below that, then we're probably going to come back down to retest this moving average, which is right now at the moving average is at $61.10. But as long as we're within the bullish control zone, we have to assume this is going to continue until trend shifts towards the other side. But we do have multiple drives of bullish divergence. We have 0 volatility expansion, and we have volatility supporting our bullish divergence going towards the upside. So right now, I think as long as we don't close below the low right here, which is at $72.46, we're very likely going to go up towards that $100 area. Let's see if there's anything else on the 2-day. No, there's nothing. In the daily right now, we're about to confirm some another drive of bullish divergence within the bullish control zone as well. This is going to confirm as long as we are above this previous high right here, which is right now at $74.48. So that $74.50 number keeps coming back up. It's a very significant number from what we've seen from multiple different time frames. As long as we keep closing above that area, it's also going to be a reclaim of the 9 EMA. This bullish divergence is going to confirm. And then our next logical target is going to be the bullish critical zone. And right now, the bullish critical zone is sitting at $85.30, while volatility is dropping. So once this confirms, the volatility is likely going to come flip back up. And right now, volatility has returned back to the lows. It was previously at right around 87, 86% volatility, and now it's back down below 20%. So now if volatility does flip back up, we have enough juice to properly pump from here. But we just have to wait for this confirmation to occur. We have to wait for the daily close. And then if we get this bullish divergence, we're very, very likely going to get another sharp move to the upside. Let's see if I can get like a possible target from that. Probably somewhere around the $89 to $90 area. But yeah. I think it's going to go higher. I think it's probably going to tap that psychological 100 level. And then from there, I don't know what's going to happen. I would be more on the defensive side from there. But for now, I'm thinking risk on towards $100.
I would have to 100% agree with you. Looking at my chart, I do have a meme line on the 73.16, and that coincided with everything you just said. So that there seems to be a very important level right there to hold or to lose, and seems like just based on your indicators, it should hold and push up. So Roku. We'll do Bitcoin right after this one.
Cool.
Ok, tenemos Roku por acá. Roku, recuerden, aquí lo tenemos, lo pueden ver por acá. Es toda la historia que tiene, lo estamos viendo en una tabla mensual. Roku empezó cotizando en el 2017 en $14.50 y hizo tope en el 2021, en julio del 2021, en $490. Roku está cotizando en este momento en $75.07. Obviamente, esperen a ver cómo le va. ¿Qué es lo que hemos estado viendo para todos ustedes que están aprendiendo con nosotros en el Elite Trading Academy? Muy sencillo. Básicamente, cuando vienes de un movimiento grande a la baja, esto es una bandera bajista y normalmente las banderas bajistas van a la derecha, que es algo que tienes que tener en mente siempre. Algo importante es, vean desde qué niveles hemos bajado y estamos básicamente en la zona barata. Y esta zona es bastante barata porque fue literalmente los primeros 2 años de Roku y de ahí no volvió a ver este precio más que una vez en el 2020, en marzo, y de ahí se fue a la luna. Y ahora vino para acá abajo y está consolidando por acá. ¿Qué es lo que estamos notando? Tenemos este alto, un alto más alto, bastante bienvenido, pero tienes este bajo y este bajo más alto. Empiezas a formar estructura, pero todavía no te dice exactamente qué tan fuerte y qué tan poderosa va a ser. Estás como en medio de todo este movimiento. Pongo mis indicadores para enseñarles esto. Estamos encima del 9 en el mensual, lo que lo hace y nos da la preferencia de que esto va a subir. Cuando vemos los índices de volatilidad y de momentum que tiene Farhan en la mensual, y en la semanal nos estamos encontrando que la volatilidad está apoyando el movimiento que está dando en este momento el precio y hemos tenido volatilidad muerta por los últimos 3 meses, que son 12 semanas. Cuando ves eso y el movimiento ya se empieza a dar, es una expansión de la misma que está empujando básicamente el precio y es lo que estás viendo en este momento. Para nosotros esta es una zona muy importante. Número 1, la primera zona a ver es el 73.16. Esta es una tabla mensual. No queremos perder el 73.16, básicamente. Eso es algo bastante importante para nosotros. El 73.16 es un excelente nivel para tener puesto en tu tabla y quieres que lo detenga, quieres que lo retenga. Ahora, idealmente para de verdad ponerte alcista de madre y esperarte a ver objetivos arriba de los $100, tienes que cerrar arriba de este promedio de las 21 en los 78.47 en esta gráfica mensual y no ser rechazado. O mínimo no ser rechazado culeramente y perder los 73.05. Eso es algo que vale la pena hacer paréntesis. Quedan 3 días y 6 horas para este cierre, así que vamos a ver cómo le va. Pero aquí es interesante. Y vieron que la media, la 55 en mi mensual, estaba aquí, en esta línea de los 96 dólares. Y el promedio de la 55 está en 97, confluencia en una zona bastante importante. Ahora los voy a llevar, vamos a ver rápido la de 2 semanas, me gusta ver esto. Pueden ver que el 9 está a punto de cruzar el 21, siempre y cuando el precio se mantenga por acá. Lo primero que vamos a querer romper es este alto en los 79.67, pero esto nos podría dar la primera señal de fuerza que tiene el precio. Y puedes ver que el promedio de la 100 está aquí arriba una vez más en esta línea en los 96. Así que atención con esta zona, claramente es un imán para el precio en estas temporalidades. En la semanal podemos ver aquí más o menos la misma historia. Ya tienes a la señal de fuerza con el 9 yéndose por encima del 21. Ahora vienes a buscar el 55 que está justamente en 68.76 y de acá lo que queremos romper son los 79.73 que habíamos dicho a la alza y justamente coincide con el promedio de la 100. Quieres asegurarte que no te vaya a rechazar esto en temporalidades más cortas y puede empujar a la alza. Para el cierre de esta semanal es básicamente hoy, 5 horas 27 minutos para el cierre y quieres que el precio no caiga de los 73.33. En la diaria estamos viendo un poco más de fuerza con el precio. Puedes ver que el 9 está por encima del 21, que tuvimos un cruce plateado a la alza por acá abajo, y eso quiere decir que cada que toques el 9 es una una oportunidad de compra como lo estás en este momento. Así que tengan y pongan muchísima atención. La zona de los 73.16 es algo que no queremos perder si queremos ser alcistas. Definitivamente romper los 79.58 va a ser bastante bienvenido este alto y de ahí muy probablemente buscar esta zona de los 96, $100 y ya de ahí nos podemos hacer bolas en la próxima vez que nos veamos. Pero hasta ahora esto es lo que parece el movimiento. De nuevo, pierdes esta línea en los 73.16 y probablemente nos volvamos bajistas. ¿Ok? Y ahora vamos a ir al análisis, damas y caballeros, de Bitcoin, que recuerden que eso es básicamente nuestra ¿cómo se dice? Ahora sí que la sopa del día, nuestra especialidad. Vamos a ponerlo. Alex, you start with the Bitcoin.
Cool. So yeah, lots happened actually.
Ooh, wow. Holy shit.
So let me go to the weekly here. It's better viewed. So what we had here, I mean, we just had a lot of chop going in. Just the past basically 1 or 2 weeks, we've had a lot of chop. And why I say chop is because we were just at that fine point where like we could reject here. It is still in a weekly downtrend, but too many things were starting to flip and tell me at least that Bitcoin's actually looking quite bullish. And I started really getting more of a bullish tone, especially last Friday. Essentially, what we had yesterday was a trend break. So the shift in structure has happened on the weekly. And that is something now that we all have to be aware of. And we should be on a higher low watch. And the reason why we should be on higher low watch, in my opinion, is because something that I talked about, I think last stream on Monday, was the fact that we had consistent silver crosses on a lot of time frames. We had a daily silver cross here. I think now the 3-day is silver cross officially. Let's see here. Yep. So yeah, the 3-day has silver cross. The 21 did fall slightly below the 55 and then shot right back up. And then also now I think the weekly is close to silver crossing potentially. No, it's not. But we had the uncrossed, the bear cross essentially we were viewing, and now it's flipped up with the 9 above the 21. And so when I'm seeing a lot of these areas, on Bitcoin, for me, I'm not buying up here. I was talking pretty heavily, and this is more evident on the daily. Just to be aware, when we were essentially chopping here, this area here, this SMA 200 was resistance. We caught a short on the Discord, and then there was a point where, we just didn't reject hard enough, in my opinion, from this SMA 200. Usually when it's true resistance, you want to get a rally up and then an actual rejection down, leading to the follow through. That's pretty big. When we're just getting consistent, just wick ups, wicks downs, almost just doji manner. It wasn't enough damage for me to say, okay, this SMA 200 is the point where we should just max short it because the weekly's in a downtrend. Because for me that seemed too easy. A, and then B, it seemed like everyone at a point was watching 65K and talking about this weekly downtrend. Oftentimes the shorts and it was easy to short this all the way down. The easy shorts come when no one's expecting them, when everyone at this point is calling for a high. And so right here at this point, everyone is calling for more downside, and it's simply just because of that weekly downtrend. The fact that Bitcoin was just not able to break this last high here. And that's why yesterday was pretty important. Because what we essentially saw was the weekly it's now broken it on a wick basis, and now we're getting that follow through. And on top of that, 3 days ago, this dump where we lost SMA 200 acted almost like a bear trap, in my opinion. It deviated the SMA 200 after it reclaimed it. Still was supported by the 9, which is something you would expect or look for, especially when we have a silver cross to the upside, like on the daily. And then, the next following day, we got that squeeze up. All these shorts basically fueled this move up. Nice reclaim of the SMA 200, and then even reclaimed the mean line. And now we're getting the follow through today. And so where I stand currently is I'm pretty bullish on Bitcoin. That was a big point in my three check mark list, if you call it that, right? We first had to reclaim the daily EMA 100. It seems likely now that the EMA 9 is going to actually hold, and we did reclaim it on the weekly. Still untested it, but almost front ran it here while getting this cross, which is almost like a 4. The 9 crossing above the 21 happens before the 55 crosses. And also something I like about the weekly too, which I find highly interesting. We had BBWP hit extremes. And then when Bitcoin was just slowly consolidating at this point, it didn't really do much to BBWP here. It just kind of made it, consolidate, and now we're getting the expansion. We are now above 15%, which tells me that momentum the setup's firing off, and bulls have the higher hand right now, and this can go a lot more. it's kind of giving me vibes of what we saw, in October, which was interesting to see. We had BBWP extremely low here at this point. Let me go to the October point. We had BBWP extremely low at this point. Many people were talking because, Bitcoin at this point was just kind of ranging under resistance and kind of just flirting with the major moving averages here. It wasn't until we reclaimed that daily EMA 100 here where we actually got the expansion, and then BBWP on the weekly actually was able to go to the 80%. But from that point, right, from this EMA 100 until it actually hit the 80%, region was 28%. Which I find interesting because we're kind of getting the same setup here. Bitcoin essentially, on the weekly, I mean, not the daily, it's essentially giving us the same setup. We're getting that expansion now with many, a lot of silver crosses on the 3-day, the 2-day, the daily, the weekly flipping as well. And we reclaimed the weekly EMA 9 last week, which is a big point. We wanted that to hold. And then, lastly, the 9 on the monthly never gave out. I know the 5 did, and we fell below it. But that's why I like viewing the 9, in my opinion, because we just kind of acted like it was in a range here on Bitcoin. We lost the 5, but the 9 still held. And that's why personally, I watched the 9 on Bitcoin. I just think it works better. And we can see here that this whole bull market's been supported by this monthly 9. It doesn't have to be pretty or clean. And definitely these last 2 months haven't been. But essentially, what we see here is it never actually got lost. And now we're forming a massive engulfing candle on the monthly. And on top of it is a massive hammerhead. Extremely, extremely healthy. While even BBWP is still coasting down, which is highly interesting for me to see because, when Bitcoin's already at 66,000 and we see the weekly possibly expanding, giving us this weekly setups firing off here, while the weekly downtrend breaking, while all major moving averages are being reclaimed with silver crosses to the upside. It's interesting for me to see that because every point on Bull's checkmark list, I guess, is still playing out, and they have a lot of momentum to push this up higher. And currently, as it stands, right now on Bitcoin, I'm still waiting for just in my personal opinion. Oftentimes, I guess you can count this as a potential front run, and it could be, and I could be sidelined potentially. But I'm still waiting for this 61,300 zone.
There's a lot of confluence there. Absolutely.
Yeah. So I think that right now, what happens when we break trends, and especially when we're getting follow through the next day, people get really excited. They start longing right here. They start having, their stop at the low of the day. Let me just go back to the daily here. And essentially what this does is we still need to make a higher low. And, for me, this is still the higher high. I'm watching this area here, the 60,800 to 61,300. Ideally, and it's hard for me to say that because ideally what we'd want is this SMA 200 to keep holding. But Bitcoin isn't often the cleanest most times. So ideally, that's the first point you'd want to look for, and that's what I'm going to be watching. What I like is this daily supported with this SMA 200. Nice confluence here. If we get any kind of downside rejection, I'm going to first be watching this SMA 200. Ideally, that holds. If it doesn't, I'm then going to be watching for a deeper pullback, which then gives me confluence of this higher low being formed around here. On the daily, we have a major cluster of moving averages, but I'm mainly focused on this daily EMA 100. It's the point that I've been mentioning here. At this point, when we broke out, it was very exciting. But then once we came back to it, it fully rejected. Here we broke out, didn't retest it as clean as here. When we came back for the throwback on the EMA 100, fully deviated again. And so I'm personally just waiting for that to happen. We start losing this SMA 200. I'm then looking at this EMA 100 on the daily, which actually lines up perfectly with the meme line at 61,282. Not only on the daily, but that lines up with the weekly as well. At least testing the 9 here again, solidifying its point of support. Keep in mind, and when we're in major bull mode, anytime we do test this 9, it's often an opportunity. Are we getting that front run now? Is it going? Are we going to break out more? Possibly. And for me right now, I'm also all eyes on USD dominance because very much like how Bitcoin has lots of silver crosses to the upside. Tether dominance actually has, silver crosses to the downside. And it's not looking good. And this is dailies actually about to silver cross today to the downside. And then we would expect essentially here, this 9, which is also lining up with this EMA 100, which we haven't tested yet. It's very much like on Bitcoin hasn't tested the support. We actually haven't rallied into this point yet. So, assuming because things don't just go down only or up only, we essentially should get some kind of, at least bounce here, if not at the diagonal that we've been watching for a few weeks now. It could come at this point, right around 5%, or possibly come all the way down to this point, this daily SMA 200 at literally 5% now. Personally speaking, I'm watching for rallies into this zone, or possibly a deeper rally into 5.6% on a wick basis. Ideally, if you're bullish, you wouldn't want this EMA 100 to get reclaimed again. So we'd have to look at that as potential resistance, which could line up with Bitcoin actually coming down, and actually either hitting this SMA 200 or giving us that deeper pullback. And it, it doesn't have to stay there for a long time. The easy part is when we can just on a wick basis, kind of like this, flush out a bunch of longs, hit our levels really fast, bounce all the way back so nothing's really changed, and then get the expansion the next, the following days. Ideally, what I'd want is something like that, like a tap and go. I really, it's fine to consolidate at this point, but just the way the weekly is looking with BWP expanding, the way the daily is with the silver cross, the 3-day, the 2-day, for me, I'd want that to be more of like a tap and go, and seeing actually bulls step in. The 5-day as well as the silver cross, and it is lining up slightly with the 9 if it gets retested here, lining up right around 62,400. So it really wouldn't be hard to just take this liquidity at this point, come all the way down, and then bounce. That's kind of what I'm just waiting and watching for. I am still bullish on Bitcoin, and the fact that we broke the weekly downtrend, it is very welcoming. A lot of people were getting comfortable shorting. Now we're seeing a lot of people getting comfortable with longing.
Very comfortable.
Yeah, so I don't think that we're only going to just go up only from here. Even on this major dump here, it really didn't impact BWP. Slightly just ticked it down. So the weekly is very, very strong, and it's now fully in favor with bulls. I'm highly sure right now, into this week potentially. I think PCE or some data came out actually, or it will be coming out today. So I would be watching personally for a pullback. That'll form another higher low. We now know that Bitcoin overall shouldn't break this wick low. Yes, it's very far from that now, but it shouldn't break this wick low. Ideally, we definitely don't want to go back under 57.5. The easy higher low for me will come in at this zone, right around 61.3, 61.6, or even all the way down to 60,800. But to me, that'll be an opportunity. I'll be watching very closely for that. And yeah, I'm liking the cluster here with the moving averages. Assuming that this 9 in SMA 200 doesn't hold, I'll be watching this a lot, because what you'll probably see potentially, and it doesn't have to reject here. I'm unsure where we could potentially reject. We know that we had this diagonal, just like Tether dominance. This is something we've been watching for a while now. I haven't changed it, and we are pressing it now. Is it going to be a move like this where we reclaim the SMA 200, found resistance at the diagonal, deviated it? The difference was we just couldn't hold the CMA 100. I'm unsure, but we are currently at resistance. Diagonal resistances aren't the strongest, but if this has been working for this chart, I'm personally going to respect it, and just kind of mentally note it. Another point where we are pressing resistance slightly above it now is CME. I made this channel here. We have this mid-range, the top, the bottom. Haven't moved it, since we deviated down and then quickly got reclaimed. The next level was this 61,400. Now we're now breaking above this. Keep in mind that this has been, a multi-month channel formed. So ideally, if we are going to break this kind of could give more. It could solidify the weekly thesis where we're seeing BBWP expand, which tells me that we are going to need it. Like if the weekly BBWP is expanding and we just shifted the trend, and the 5-day just now silver crossed with tether dominance daily, freshly about to silver cross to the downside. To me, it tells me that, we really could break out pretty hard from here. And that's why for me, I'm trying to take the conservative approach, of course. But we'll have to see what Bitcoin starts doing, because very much like what we saw in October, we're kind of getting the same setups brewing, especially with the 5-day and the weekly. And the difference now is we're at 66,000. We're not at 26,000. So it's just highly interesting to see that at the point where we're at. You can even extend this meme line here that I have just on the drawing tool. And then we are pressing resistance. So it's something to be mindful of currently. If you're bullish, you'd actually want to pull back. That'd be perfectly fine, because all pullbacks now are just opportunities to form a higher low, because the weekly did shift. And so that's a point now where, okay, bulls are in control. Watch the higher low. If we get any kind of throwback to this point, this could be an opportunity. I'm not going to blind bid this, but I'm going to be watching very closely for at least some lower time frame bullish candles to start forming. But also, that is now at this point a very extremity low trade, and this will rely on us making more of a deeper higher low rather than a very shallow one, in my opinion. Overall, though, very strong Bitcoin. Nice flip. Risk on actually, caught a nice bid. The quarterly isn't looking bad at all. With that, actually basically retesting the quarterly 9. Which is very interesting for me to see, because to me this is just looking very bullish on the higher time frames. Which doesn't mean I'm max bidding this now. The easy longs were at that 50,000 range. I personally didn't take the long at the EMA 100 on the daily reclaim right here. This was the first long trigger though. So now I'm watching for just the easy throwback to it, lining up with major moving averages. Watch very close to that 61.3. I wouldn't personally long this here. And also tether dominance is approaching support. This is Dixie right here. It's on support now. So we could come down, break this, and come to the diagonal channel. But I'm also very cautious with possibly a pullback on Bitcoin, which could lead into an opportunity, something I've been talking about for a few days now, which just could be giving us more basically shorts to potentially squeeze out when we do start coming down. Because you have to think of it like this: if we start losing this SMA 200, people are going to start looking at this scenario, and then also this scenario right here. And they've gotten used to this. Shorts got very, very used to and comfortable with shorting. So we actually do start coming down, and let's say we do reject here in a perfect world, we start consolidating on the SMA 200 and lose it, and let's say the SMA 200 is like right here at that point. At this point, people are going to start stacking into shorts. They're going to start looking, probably a lot of people are looking at a diagonal, like I am. They're looking at this SMA 200 because we know people were shorting this consolidation here. That's why we're breaking out now. For me, it'd be very Bitcoin to reject, consolidate on the SMA 200. It's right here, assuming it keeps extending, and then actually dump and come down. This will start getting long, stressed out, and shorts very horny. To me, then I'm watching for a move like that. And I do think that this 2021 market cycle high will be a major spot for Bitcoin. If it can actually reclaim this 2021 market cycle high, represented with this red meme line here, which is at the wick high basis of it, I do think that we can get a major move back, to all-time highs, pressing the $73,000, $72,000 zone for me is going to be very telling, because if we start breaking the 69K, 70,000 and holding it, to me, this is a sustained rally. And I do think we're actually then going to start testing the 80,000K region, especially with how the weekly's flipping and with the BBWP giving us a confirmed signal of expansion. To me, this scenario here is hopium in the sense for bulls, and this could be a nice opportunity to get positioned. Something it again reminds me of in October. Let me see if I have my chart really fast. In October, I was watching the throwback. Let me see if I can see it. It's probably not.
It's right there.
Yeah. So, I was essentially watching the throwback in October. It was, right here. When we started breaking out here, and I didn't, I deleted it, but I had a diagonal here. I can just represent it at this point. Essentially, I was watching in October the throwback. We got this breakout, and at this point, people were getting a lot of FOMO. There was a lot of, just a lot of FOMO happening. Even I was like, damn, because I knew what was going to happen. Far knew what was going to happen. Statistics were telling us what was going to happen, just like it did on Friday for me. And now we're getting that expansion. And for me, it was just more of the patient game. And I waited for the throwback. We got it. Major opportunity here. And then this is when we got the real breakout. And so for me now, I'm watching that literal same thing. I don't think that this will just be an easy ride for longs. It could be maybe, Bitcoin could be doing the corn thing where we just break out and go up only. But if we do get this scenario I mentioned on the daily, I'm going to be watching this very, very carefully because I do think this could be a major opportunity across the board. And that's how markets are. They're bullish and bearish, and it's up to us to decipher that and not be perma bulls or perma bears. Just stick to the data. What's more probable? And I mentioned this on Friday on our Discord. I said there's more of a probability of us breaking this weekly downtrend than us breaking down at the SMA 200. I think that was acting as a trap, and it did. We saw the squeeze once it broke above it, solidifying that shorts got too horny right at that level. They were just shorting it blindly. That consolidation to not break down now is what gets bears every single time, because yes, we're under resistance. Yes, we have a weekly downtrend, but it's like that's where we have to analyze the actual candlesticks we're forming. It was major indecision. There was no follow through like what we should get in a healthy, rejection, lower high to follow through. So that's my Bitcoin analysis. I'm pretty bullish. I'd like a pullback to then target 2021 market cycle highs right around that 69K, which is a great number overall.
I have that October move like perfectly engraved in me, because right when everything started happening, I messaged all of my friends and I was like, now you buy Bitcoin, now you buy old cryptos, now you buy this. And before that, I had bought like the NFT stuff. So I had some money that was already going up. And I was like, I can't believe it. I'm going to nail this fucking rally. And right after that, because I bought at the deviation to the upside, then it went down, and everyone on my message list was like, what the fuck? I thought this was up. And I told them, this time around, hang on. It has to go up. There's monetary expansion. There's nothing telling us otherwise. And everybody was like, we'll see. And it fucking went up. And I was like, I hope you didn't sell. And most of them did.
You remember firsthand. But my Instagram posts in October and September of 2023. I was the most insufferable bastard on the planet.
I am. You were like, I don't know how I can't even tell you how bullish I am.
I'm so bullish it hurts.
Yeah, and it feels like the same way. I think if I was Mr. Market, what I would do to fuck everyone over is go to 68,400. Everyone's going to expect 69 and break that. And from there, have your deviation to the downside. Then go back to the 61 whatever, and right there when everyone's like, this is gonna go to shit, pump it. That would make a lot of sense. We still
have not retested yet. We have not retested the daily median.
Oh, let's see. Where's that? Show us.
63,850. But I'll show you when I pull up my chart.
Let me pull. I actually found the old chart of October. This brings back good memories. So yeah, this was funny to me. Farn, you both remember this time, just like breakouts and then breakdowns and just bullshit.
That was me eating it there.
You know what I was doing in September and August and September of 2023? I was going balls deep into Bitcoin call options. Literally what I would do is every single Monday I would put in another $500 into call options, and at the peak, I probably put in close to like 9 or 10K, pulled out around like 85 or 90K from that shit.
No, damn. Your percentage return was insane on that.
I
saw that. That's when we started talking around that time. But remember, so Bitcoin essentially, this was a scenario I mentioned, a long time ago publicly. Bitcoin can do these massive rallies up, get above all major moving averages. But it always is a throwback, and this was a nice 7-8% dump. And I remember everyone got bearish here, and this is just essentially what I'm waiting for. we're getting that breakout, we're getting that shift trend right now. I'm just waiting for this higher low here to form. And I just really don't think we're going to just break out right here and everyone gets a free ride. More fuckiness is more constituted, especially when we're about to make a big move potentially. So I just wanted to bring that up because that is something that did happen right before the breakout. It just always back tests and retest levels. I know it's on a cluster here just because things have moved, but it just always does. So like we reclaimed it, we even reclaimed the weekly SMA 200 in a very long time. We didn't do that. And then again, more doji top and then follow through all the way down. And actually went all the way down, hit all even below moving averages. And that's what fucked people. I then just went to the mean lines, understood that this was a major thing that we were expecting to the downside. Throwing it back here, this was an opportunity, which I did long. Just like fine, balls deep longed it. Unfortunately, I basically sold at this wick here, thinking this was the top. So yeah, that wasn't the smartest move because then we definitely know that wasn't the top. And this is why I started paying really close attention to this weekly at night because if you just start studying Bitcoin, you start realizing that each and every time it's been an opportunity. When we're bull mode, that's why reclaiming this and waiting for the throwback here could make up for a nice setup at least, especially when we it's almost at the same levels as it was in October, just slightly not as low. So
fucking wild. Are you sharing, Farhan, your Bitcoin chart?
Yeah, let me pull it up. This cat is just scratching the fuck out of me right now.
You have an itchy pussy?
I think so, but I think so.
No, you have a scratchy pussy.
Oh, who knows?
The most immature degenerate I've ever met.
Oh, I'm sorry. Oh.
The first, not the first, but the second video I ever saw of yours is when you were going over your 918, and then you pointed towards your Cartman keychain. From there, I was like, "That's my people."
I get that, dude. It's the simple things.
Buddy has a Cartman keychain on his $2 million hypercar.
You gotta keep it real.
Always.
All right, so you guys see my chart?
Yeah.
All right, so right now on I'm on Coinbase. I'm gonna switch to the index. It's so fucking hard for me to not be bullish as fuck when I see this. Because first we closed over the median, and then we back tested the median, and now we're getting expansion off the upside. And we have a base off, like I like to call it, like me and Crown both call this the Bing and Bong play. Whenever you close above the median, your Bing and Bong play is to the 38.2%. If you reject the median, your Bing and Bong play is to the bottom 38.2%. Since we closed above it and we back tested it and we're getting expansion, right now we have a 61.8% chance of hitting $75,000.
What percent chance? A 70?
61.8% chance of hitting $75,000.
Damn.
And if you look at our HBR momentum, HBRO, it's starting to flip back up. It's back into the positive territory. And let me see if there's any type of divergences here. We're a little bit lower than the previous one. And this closes at 64,290. So no, there is no divergence there because we're well above that in price. We are not technically above it in momentum yet. So if we were to reject here, there wouldn't even be any hidden bearish divergence. So I'm trying to find some hopium for the bears right now. I usually find hopium for the bulls. I'm trying to find some hopium for the bears.
That's good. We got to analyze the other side too.
I just can't find any hopium for the bears. I'm sorry, buds.
Maybe that's in your blood.
I think so.
And right now on volatility, we're starting to tick it back up too. So volatility is supporting this move towards the upside. it's really looking like we're about as long as we hold this median, which is at 62,983 on the weekly, we're very likely going to go to $75,000. And we check the Jewel on the weekly right now. Jewel is starting to flip back around. It's giving us the first signs of this cyan light blue. You could call it a bicycle, and it's also rejecting getting into the bearish control zone. So the Jewel's about to start flipping around. We don't have DMI support yet. DMI is still red. We want to see this flip green, like over here. So once the DMI flips green, and we get above the pink, that's going to be the ultimate signal that we need to see that we're probably going to end up hitting this top 38.2% around $75,000, and that would be new all-time highs. I'm sure everybody knows $75,000 new all-time highs. And right now, if we look at the monthly. The monthly is starting to it's getting support at the 9 EMA again, and now it's once again above the bottom 38.2%. The 38.2% right now is at 65,573. As long as we have 3 days, 9 hours to go. As long as we close above this bottom 38.2%, we get a bing and bong play to the median. And right now, like, you got to take this with a grain of salt because this median is going to move after the next monthly open. But right now, this median sits at $97,592. And if you look at the monthly HBDRO, the HBDRO momentum, it is flipping down right now. It's not necessarily the worst thing right now because we're still not within the bearish control zone. So here's the area where I would look for maximum opportunity for bulls. Like if we can tap the bearish control zone, from there I would expect a reaction. If we do break into it, then I would say, okay, the trade idea is invalidated and we're probably going to go down. But right around here is where I would say that we're probably going to find our maximum opportunity zone for the bulls. And if we look at how's quarterly look? So right now, quarterly is bouncing off of the 9 EMA. It's finding some resistance at the median. The median right now is at 66,777. If we do get a quarterly close over the median at 778, or let's just say
3 days.
Let's say 66,800 to be safe. If we get any close over that, we have one of those bing and bong plays to the top 38.2%. You got to remember this number is going to move down. So like I don't want to get anybody like creaming their pants. But this number right now sits at $166,983.
Can you imagine doing a long 50x leverage with all of your bag and getting there?
You're rich.
Yeah, you're done. You're forever. You would bankrupt the exchange.
Manny Koshman is going to be pulling up to suck your dick.
Well, you can rent his house.
But he's like, I'm a billionaire, but you can pay me $100 a month for real estate advice.
Crazy. No, he stopped it. I saw the Baller Busters put out the letter.
God.
Those baller buster guys are so fucking hilarious.
They're fucking hilarious. Yeah.
Have you ever read their comment section? Everybody is dying to get them to make a post about you.
Oh yeah, and they just always go like, "There's nothing we can post about him." It's so sad. I feel so bad for people not getting it. One day though, one day.
Fucking retards.
Yeah, fine. Your being in bonk play on the monthly is interesting to me because it's like what Alejandro said. Like 50x long would pay so much. It's like that's what I'm saying. Like the financial like opportunity we're getting with this 5-day setup and the weekly setup, which Farnell mentioned, is wouldn't surprise me to see this volatility because we're getting the same setup that we had at the low mid 20s 30K that took us all the way to 70K. So it's just very crazy to see that.
Very look on the opposite end. Pull up Tether dominance. Tether dominance on the quarterly is rejecting every single one of our major EMAs, and we're putting in a shooting star candle right here.
But isn't it also on the probability of it going down, like basically exhausted?
Yes, because we're at the 95% range, and then like we're deep within the 90% range. Yeah. So there is not much probability of going down from here. We're waiting for the next 3 days, 9 hours for this new quarterly open. What we're hoping is that these ranges move down. If these ranges do move down, that's going to give us the confirmation that we need that Tether is probably going to dump a little bit more. But here's one thing I've been looking at for the past like couple of weeks, and right now it's just flipped around. I've been showing you guys like on basically every single one of these live streams. On the RSI on Tether dominance, we used to have hidden bullish divergence right here. Now the hidden bullish divergence is gone.
Ooh.
As long as we're below this candle's high, which is right here at 5.41%, as long as we're below that, there is no hidden bullish divergence. It's a rejection of the 9 EMA, and we're very likely going to dump hard from here. Because every single time you see, while Tether was going up, it's held a 9 EMA. This blue line right here is a 9 EMA. It's held it every single time. Once we lost it around October of 2023. Do you guys remember what the Bitcoin price was in October of 2023?
Yeah, 28, 26,000.
Yeah, right around $26,000 to $28,000. As soon as we lost the 9 EMA on Tether dominance, Bitcoin went from $25,000, $26,000 to right around $48,000, $49,000.
Yep.
And since then, we've retested the 9 EMA. We rejected it again. We dumped hard. And right now, we're getting another rejection of the 9 EMA.
Yeah, that's
So
a lower high.
as long as this 9 EMA is a rejection, we're very likely going to continue down from here. And let's see if we can get a little bit of a number. Yeah, this is a negative number, so you're going to want to disregard that. Yeah, I'm just getting negative numbers, so don't worry about that. Don't worry about that. But right now, we are getting a little bit of a bounce off of the middle zone of the RSI.
Mhm.
That level is right now at 2.23%. But these numbers are going to change after this next quarterly open. So we want to see what this number moves to, because very likely we're getting a bounce off of this middle zone, because nothing goes down only. What we're going to look for next is we see this moving average line right up with the bullish control zone. At the next quarterly open, we want to see this moving average go down a little bit. And then from there, we would look for a rejection right around the bullish control zone and the moving average. And once we get that, that'll be a confirmation of trend towards the downside. And that'll tell us that Tether is very likely going to dump a couple more percent. And if Tether dumps a couple of percent, Bitcoin is going up a couple $10,000.
Yep.
If we look at the monthly on Tether dominance, this is a very, very, very sharp projection. We got a little bit of a deviation above this 21 EMA, and then we got a sharp projection afterwards. What we want to see, ideally, is we want to see it close below this 55, which is at right around like 4.9% roughly. If we get a close below that, that's going to be a confirmation that we're going to break down in Tether. Our next target is going to be this 100 EMA, which is right now at like the low 3% area, 3.15 to 3.2%. And if Tether is going down to 3.15 to 3.2%, Bitcoin is probably going to $75,000 or $80,000. Weekly right now, we have confirmed multiple drives of bearish divergence within the bullish control zone. We have 1, 2, 3 drives confirmed, and we've lost the bullish control zone now. So we're looking at as our next target is the middle zone, which right now is at 5.01%. We're very close to there. If we do close below that, it might be right. It's right around our 200 SMA as well. So if we do lose that, we're going to end up very likely coming down to the bearish control zone. And right now, the bearish control zone sits at 3.4%. You guys remember the 3.38% number we just looked at, like not even 10 minutes ago?
I would say so. I have mental problems and memory problems, but not like that big.
So if we were to come down to that 3% area on Tether dominance, Bitcoin is likely breaking the fuck out, probably going to new all-time highs. Everybody's going to be max bullish on Bitcoin again. Peter Schiff is going to start shifting his account into private. And then from there, we're probably going to get a little bit of a rejection. But right now, it's looking like Tether dominance is about to break down, while on the opposite end, Bitcoin is looking like it's on the verge of a breakout. Let's switch back to Bitcoin. Here's one chart I like to look at more than the index is the CME chart. because the CME chart has a lot more like relevance than the index does. The CME is what the institutions are doing.
Mhm.
I had this little meme line right here, this diagonal meme line, and we're now solidly above it. We're very strongly above it. And if we do close above this meme line, we're very likely going to come up towards this top meme line right here, which is right around $71,500, which goes alongside with my HBR chart on the index, which gives us a target of $75,000. So if we do close above this area, very likely we're going to break out. But what I'm thinking is that next time we tap previous all-time highs of 73,000, we're probably going to shoot way past it, take all the liquidity there, maybe go up to somewhere around $77,000, possibly $80,000 if we're very bullish. But I think around that point is where we're going to find some resistance and probably a little bit of a pullback. And what I'm looking for a pullback zone right now, let me switch back to my HBDR chart. It's just roughly the same exact area Alex was talking about. There's two areas I'm looking at for a pullback right now. So on the daily, we have yet to retest this median after we've closed above it, and the median right now lines up basically to a T with the 200 SMA, right here at 63,885 to 63,850. This would be the ideal area for long for me. If we were to get a rejection off of this top 38.2% zone, we're very likely going to come back down to test this median right around 63.8. And I think that would be the area to get long. Balls deep long, no financial advice. Balls deep long here. And then from there, I would be targeting 71.5. But if we do close below 63.8, then that idea is out the window. We're probably coming down to the bottom 38.2%, which right now is at $61,807. But that's just as much copium as I can find for the bulls. I mean, for the bears. That if we keep rejecting this area right here, we're probably going to retest this area. This area is very likely going to hold, because as you see, like the 200 SMA has some very strong significance. Like we deviated.
I was going to say there's a major expansion every single time on price whenever the 9 goes above the 200.
Yeah, because the 9 is not the fastest moving average I use, but it's the second fastest, and the 200 is the slowest one. So whenever the fast one moves above the slow one, it tells you that whatever time frame you're looking at is in an uptrend. And right now the daily is also in a silver cross. The 2-day, I believe, 2-day just silver cross as well. So whenever you get a silver cross, you're looking at the 9 EMA as an entry. And right now the 9 EMA sits at right around $63,000. This is going to close in 1 day, 9 hours. We're probably not going to get the retest right here, but it's probably going to go up a little bit. Probably somewhere around where this 5 EMA is at, maybe right around this previous highs right here, right around 64,000 to 64,800, which is the same number we were looking at before on our monthly and quarterly chart for the median. So as long as we're above this 38.2%, that's just an idea. It's not going to happen. If we lose this 38.2%, then we're probably going to retest this 9 EMA and solidify this silver cross. But for now, we're still above this 38.2%, which is at 65,500. As long as we're above it, we have to assume that we're going to retest this meme line right here, which is right around that perfect number of $69,000. Our HBDR momentum is starting to flip down a little bit right here, although it's not the worst sign because we're still above the 38.2% and we're still strongly within the bullish control zone. And while HBDR momentum is flipping down, volatility is flipping down too. So that's telling us that whatever move down we get, very likely is going to be a corrective move. And the jewel right now is just freshly, the pink has crossed above the yellow, and the cyan light blue is crossing above everything else. We want to see these bunched together. They're not bunched, so it's not like one of the best signals like you saw right here whenever they were bunched. But it is a very good signal nonetheless. Whenever the fast crosses above the slow, and then we're strongly with the bullish control zone, and we're about to cross into the bullish critical zone. So it's telling you that on the jewel on the 2-day right now is that we're fresh within breakout territory, and we have to wait for this closure. If we get any type of close above 65,500, we very likely have confirmed our breakout. We're going to wait for these ranges to move up, but my first target is going to be somewhere around $69,000. And from there, if we don't reject $69,000, I think we're probably going to. I think we're going to reject 69,420. I think we're probably
that would be too perfect. That would be too perfect for him. Too perfect.
If we get a rejection of 69,420, I think we're probably going to move back down towards 38.2%, right around 65 to 64.8. And then from there, I think we'll get our next move towards the upside. But I don't think we're going to blast right past through 69,420 and $70,000 right away. I think we're probably going to find some rejection because there's a lot of, I don't know about you guys, but based off of my Twitter timeline, everybody is max bullish right now.
Everyone. This is why I'm saying I wouldn't even give him like the big numbers, because 69 was a top cycle number. So everyone would at least expect that to hit. Forget about the resistance at $70,000. So I have, and I'm going to play this, and it's a super high risk, but I believe also high reward. If it goes directly right now into $68,340, open a short and hope that that goes back to either your 63,800 or the 61, but I'll be monitoring. I probably close it at 63.
Yeah, I mean, that would make sense. And like that is what Farn is saying. Like if we did just went up only, up in a straight line, hit the 2021 market cycle high, I would bet we would definitely get some reaction there. It's not just going to blast to it.
Yeah.
Ideally, though, since everyone's already bullish here and we're already slightly at certain resistance points, we do get that throwback now or around here. And then I do believe if we go up to that 2021 market cycle high, I do think we're going to go through it. Assuming we get a pullback and a flush out.
Let's tell me, would this not be a Bitcoin move to tap this 2021 cycle high of 69,420, get a rejection, and then retest this silver cross right here, right around 63K?
Well, yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's right there. The move's right there. I think so. Because that would fuck everyone over. Right now, everyone's getting long right now.
One last thing I want to look at.
Everyone just max longed it. They forget about higher lows.
Yep.
So right now, our monthly momentum is up as long as price is above $65,160. Not only that, but it's testing the edge of the bullish critical zone. So as long as we flip up from here, we're probably going to get a very significant move. As you see right here, last time we reclaimed the bullish critical zone. Let's draw a vertical line. See what happened here. See that, fellas?
Holy shit.
Here's when we reclaimed the bullish critical zone on the monthly. Price went 2,500% up. Not too bad, right? Not too bad.
Lovely.
I'd be fine with that.
Yeah, you can't go broke making it 2,500%, right?
I hope not.
So,
I really hope not.
I mean, Mandy Kashmi can go broke making 2,500%.
Well, he's got to spend everything, because otherwise, how is he going to get a like on his pictures?
But he lives for those Instagram likes.
Oh, for sure.
On the quarterly right now, our momentum pivot is at $38,700.
Oh my God.
Safe to say we're probably going to close above that.
Fingers crossed.
And we're getting volatility expansion from here too. So volatility is supporting our move towards the upside.
Wow.
Let's see if I can get a.
wasn't that the lowest volatility in the quarterly's history? Now it's expanding from it. That's interesting.
There you go with your crazy fucking
$88,767.
It's going to hit the 88. That one, I don't have a doubt. The 100, I have my doubts just because it's such a good number. At 88, everyone would go in thinking that 100 is a fact, and that would be the biggest rug pull, in my view.
Have you seen what I've been posting on Instagram for the past year? Where I'm like, I think 100K is kind of a trap.
I think so too. Yeah. Because that's whenever you want something so bad, and everyone, dude, who hasn't wanted Bitcoin to get to 100K? I was the first one to be guilty of it. I think that's like the biggest fucking will happen when that happens.
You know what Bitcoin to 100K reminds me of? Elon on SNL.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. Oh, yeah. Major toppy vibes. Major.
Right now on the weekly, we are getting expansion of volatility after several weeks of zero volatility, and our pivot right now is at 61,255. Let's say 61,260.
Crazy.
That's our pivot. As long as we're above that number, where momentum is favoring the bulls. And not only that, but we are rejecting getting within the bearish control zone as well. So that's telling us another major thing on momentum, that we're flipping up from the bearish control zone, and the pivot is several $1,000s below price action right now.
That's
So
crazy.
very likely, like this volatility expansion is going to continue. We're only at 19%. We can go up another 70% from here, another 75% from here before volatility is tapped out. And how high can Bitcoin go if volatility is going up another 70% on the weekend, right? It can go up to maybe $75,000, $80,000, $88,000.
Doesn't the weekly have the setup with it attached to it, like
Yeah, but
Yeah.
we're gonna start with the 5 day. So the
Okay.
5 day, like the 5 day setup we were looking at previously, is after whenever the volatility dropped below 15% and it expands above, you have an 85% of a 30 to 35% move in direction of stochastic momentum. So right now we have expanded from here, right around this zone we expanded, where the price was at 56,745 and we started expanding. Right now, momentum is up as long as we're above $55,112. We were about $11,000 above that right now, so
We should be good. Hopefully.
yeah, I think so. And let's get our average move from 56,750.
these are fun to play. One of my favorite setups trading Bitcoin. Because it's so easy. It gives you a probable setup, like a statistical probable setup on the momentum pivots. So it's kind of crazy that Bitcoin's like 10,000 above it.
That brings us to, what does it bring us to? $76,600.
Yeah, and it's like
Damn.
how many days usually too? Isn't that like 35, 40 days?
Yeah, it's usually about a month and a half before
That's
it
great.
where it
insane.
plays out.
Yeah.
Do you guys remember what the top HPDR level was? 75.8.
Yep. Fucking A.
So they're all lining up right now. And this the beauty of this setup is that it gives you the probability and the statistics behind it. So out of the entire iteration of Bitcoin since 2009, this has an 85% hit rate. And you guys can easily use this indicator yourself. It's called the Crown Quant Skeleton Key. Let me show you. Here we go.
And what is this exactly?
So this right here is like a strategy backtester. You can enter in your entire like trading strategy into here, and it'll give you all of the statistics behind it. It'll tell you what the average win percentage is, the average loss percentage, the average amount of time it takes, and it tells you like everything behind your strategy. And then you can also use this like if you want to. I personally don't do it that much, but if you want to, you can hook it up with your exchange, and then you can have your automated trading set up as well. So you can have it execute your trades for you whenever your strategy like fires off.
Yeah. Got it. That's pretty fucking useful.
Crown
Crown made that?
I'm sorry?
Crown made that?
Yeah. This is basically Crown's baby right now. The Crown Quant automation.
It's very convenient though, because that's how we get like the 5-day setup and the statistics behind it and the weekly setup. And it's just, you're more confident when you have like an edge with the data. Many people go into trades just blind, not even referencing statistics, which is kind of crazy. So when you have like an 85% trade hit win rate, which will change over time, giving you a 30 to 35% move, it's like you just really need to nail that one time a year, and you've just made financial freedom to a degree.
Basically, yeah.
Which is crazy to think about, because even if you're on a 10x, that's a 350% gain on average, which is kind of crazy.
Here's how the Crown Quant Skeleton Key looks. this is where you enter in your strategy. Like if you want a long or short strategy, you enter in all of your data right here. You can enter in all of your indicators and have it fire off whenever your strategy actually does fire off, and it gives you all of the data behind it. This is one of the most valuable tools available, in my opinion. It's not free, and it's not a one-time payment either. It's a monthly payment of a very nice number of $169.
Of course.
But we're working on getting a link for you fellas, if you guys are interested in this. But this right now is probably my favorite tool of all time, the Crown Quant Skeleton Key, because it gives you all of the data behind your trading setups and your strategies and everything. So like on the 5-day setup, it tells you that you have an 85% win rate. On the weekly, I believe it's around 80 to 85% as well. I haven't backtested that myself yet. But the 5 day is the one that I mainly go off. The 5 day is the whole reason why I got balls deep into call options back in September and October of 2023. The 5-day setup that we were having back then is firing off right now. Same way it was back then.
The difference between this and there is I feel like the weekly wasn't firing off a setup. It was just the 5-day. And the weekly's firing off a setup as well, I do believe.
Yeah.
Which is crazy because it's a little more, it's just more than a 5-day in terms of gain.
And as of this moment, technically the monthly is as well. Because we dropped below, just ticked below that 15% area. Then we started expanding, and momentum is up as long as we're above 65,170. So technically, we have a monthly setup as well.
That's crazy.
But yeah, I've been trying to find some hopium for the bears. I just can't really find much.
Not right now. I agree.
The hopium for the bears right now is we need to first look at the daily estimate 200. Major level to the book. You should watch the throwback and along the throwback of it. But if we start losing that, okay, that's step one. Step two will be then once we lose that daily EMA 100, in my opinion, that'll just segue or bleed into the weekly losing the 9 again. For me, if we start losing the daily EMA 100, I'll be bearish again, even if the trend is shifted, just because it's a major level for Bitcoin. When we're below it, then losing it would just be a big deviation. But again, that's just a thesis and hopium for bears, but that's kind of what I'm watching. So like as long as we're above that, I'm not really bearish. I don't have any reason to be. And the beauty of this is we kind of flipped bullish while people already were in shorts in profits. So they were able to cut those shorts, reanalyze the trade. It wasn't like, oh, we're breaking out, now I'm bullish. No, it's just because like the background data starts flipping. The statistical data, you want to be bearish because of the weekly trend and the SMA 200, we're under it, but when everything else is telling you, well, statistically, we should break out and break down, and it's kind of nice to have that edge with that. And that's where like Farham's indicators are really OP because you can, instead of just basing it on price action and indicators, but you would have been bullish on the daily EMA 100 reclaim. That would have been the first long trigger, in my opinion. Having the statistics behind it kind of just get all the noise away because just a few days ago, people were bearish again. Everyone's talking about 65K. Now everyone's talking about 69, 70,000 again. Everyone's bullish. Everyone's longing. And like I said, when you get these trend shifts, people hear that on Twitter and they just, we're in an uptrend. They'll just max long it right when we break out, totally neglecting the whole psychological side of a pullback to a higher low. So yeah, it's very interesting. It's very exciting times though, because what we're basically seeing with Bitcoin, which is extremely weird to me because it just happened like that, is we're seeing it potentially look like it's about to majorly break out to the upside, which is being supported by every single time frame up to a monthly even, which we've never really had. And we've never had that quarterly volatility that Farham was mentioning, that low in Bitcoin's history, that it was the most recent. So I mean, to me, yeah, it's very weird. But if we do go up, it's genius season again. Everyone's just gonna, everyone.
Why it's doing that? Bitcoin is on liquidate Zoran Cole mode.
Yeah, and he shouldn't have been so. I always say there's a right way to be a bear. There's a wrong way. When you get one good short trade right, you're feeling yourself. The last thing you want to do is go start hacking the OG traders because when that shit doesn't work, and it usually doesn't work when you're shorting or long, it's trading.
Right. Alejandro, I don't know if you know who Zoran Cole is, but he's one of the most insufferable bastards on crypto Twitter. So right around like when Bitcoin was in the 70s, he was very bearish. So he shorted with around 600K.
Mm-hmm.
So he got on the Bybit leaderboard. He turned his 600K initial into around 13 million. So he was feeling himself.
Oh,
So he started shitting on all of the OG crypto Twitter traders. Like this is one guy named smartestmoney.eth.
Mm-hmm.
Guy turned like 20K into around 70 or 80 million dollars.
No.
So Zoran started going at him. Zoran had a 13 million P&L. Smartest Money had like $100 million P&L. And he was just trying to shit on him.
What a fucking retard.
And now that Bitcoin broke over 65K, bro deleted his Twitter account.
He said if it breaks 65, I'm off. He was that confident, which you should never be that confident. Now he's off Twitter. He's now a meme. He used to say it's Coal World for his last name, and people are now it's Clown World. It's
well, really by the way, he's coming back. Just give it a few days.
Yeah,
he's coming back. He's coming back. Come on, guys, get the fuck out of here. All right, that was excellent, by the way.
This dude's Smartest Money is probably the best trader I've ever seen in my life. He opened an $800 million long on Ethereum at like $2,300.
No, you said it. Wait, you said an 800 million?
800 million.
Crazy.
How do you even get that much crypto? Like I call Coinbase, I'm like, I want to buy more than 25 grand. They're like, whoa, buddy. Hang on a second.
He put in 80 million on Binance at 10x leverage.
Yeah, it's insane. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's crazy.
Yeah, I mean, just 20K on a 30x, right? Mm-hmm. On a 30x leverage move, going 200%. That's mega.
Yeah, it's good money. I can't imagine even trading with $1 million.
Yeah,
that's crazy.
You know,
I don't have the balls yet. Once I get there,
there's a manager. It's called Coin Market Man, where like it tracks all of your trades. You enter in your API from your exchanges, and then it uploads all of your trades. Bro is literally #1 on that website.
Well, yeah, dude, get the fuck out of here. That's incredible.
And you know what he trades? He trades mainly Ethereum.
So what a boring life. But he might be profitable, but what a boring life.
Buddy is pulling 8-9 figures on fucking Ethereum.
God bless him. You see, there's something for everyone. It's like when there's like an ugly chick for that ugly guy. There's a fat chick for that fat guy. There's also Ethereum for this guy. Good for him.
Buddy has a little bit of an issue with anime porn, though.
Oh,
I don't know how that's public, but Jesus Christ. All righty, let me do this. We got Uber to go, and then instead of doing UNG, let's do Nat Gas, because this is what I was telling everyone. Nat Gas. So again, Uber.
Look at who is sleeping in my lap right now.
Let me see. Let me look at your little pussy. That's my dog, except it's a cat. That's awesome. All right,
so cute.
No, go ahead.
Oh no, I'll just do Uber. I'll do Uber. You can do Nat Gas.
Okay. I was just going to give the bad news to everyone that after all that in-depth analysis, I'm just going to summarize it in 2 minutes. So
what's the ticker for natural gas?
Nat Gas, literally NAT. No, natural. Hang on a second. Let me click on it. Yeah, natural, NATURAL, gas.
I got it.
Yeah.
All righty, 1 second then. Bitcoin. Ok, vamos a empezar con el análisis de Bitcoin rapidísimo que entre Farhan y Alex me dieron. Aparte, aquí hay una diferencia muy sutil en los rangos que vamos a jugar con, pero lo primero que les quiero enseñar para todos los que estamos aprendiendo es esto. Vamos a ir y empezar en una gráfica con velas trimestrales. Eso quiere decir que cada una de estas velas son 3 meses. Esta es la corta vía de Bitcoin trepando como loco, ¿no? Porque, o sea, existía antes, pero no estaba teniendo estos movimientos y estas velas tan grandes. Y lo que podemos primero, antes que nada, ver es que estamos encima del promedio de las 9, que se encuentra en 48,020 dólares, que es bastante buena señal. Esto nos dice que todo bien, todo alcista, yendo para adelante, sobre todo en una gráfica trimestral. Cuando nos acercamos un poco más y ponemos la mensual, podemos ver que el precio el precio vino a testear el promedio de las 9 que está en 59,000, lo rechazó creando no es un hammerhead porque tiene que cerrar aquí arriba, pero una vela parecida que es bastante alcista. Lo primero que tenemos que notar es que acabamos de romper este alto de la vela pasada de 65,000, que estaba en 65,600, digamos, y sigue con fuerza para arriba. También tienes al 9 por encima del 21, lo que te dice que tiene fuerza y momentum el precio para seguir subiendo, y muy por encima del 55. Todo eso se ve muy bien. Cuando nos acercamos un poco más y volteamos a ver a las 2 semanas, también podemos ver un poco de lo mismo. Tienes al precio yendo a rebotar en la 9, que es más que bienvenido después de haber rebotado en el 21 y ahora estás muy por encima de ello. Bitcoin está cotizando en el spot. Bitcoin Spot está cotizando en 66,307. Ahora nos vamos a acercar un poco más en la semanal y esto es donde se pone interesante la cosa. ¿Por qué? Porque aquí estamos viendo que el 9 acaba de trepar sobre el 21. Esto nos enseña que esto lleva fuerza para hacia adelante y el promedio del 55 está en 54,000, que no lo usamos tanto para tradear, así que no es tan relevante. Está haciendo altos más bajos, pero este es el primer alto más alto que rompes de acá. Ahora, tienes que hacer un bajo más alto en esta jugada por acá. Eso es clave de ponerle atención. Cuando nos acercamos y en la diaria, esto fue algo que me encantó ver. Pueden ver mi promedio de las 200, que es el promedio más lento, el SMI 200 que tengo y que uso, está básicamente aquí abajo, es el morado que va por acá arriba, ¿ok? Pueden ver que ha estado el precio por encima hasta acá y acá se ha caído, pero estamos a punto de hacer que el 9 cruce encima del 200. ¿Cuándo fue la última vez que el 9 cruzó encima del 200 en la temporalidad diaria? Un segundo y prepárense para esto. Acá. Y el movimiento de eso fue literalmente hasta esto, 75%. Simplemente ese movimiento fue 75% hasta acá. No estamos diciendo hasta el pico. En el pico estás hablando de cientos de por ciento a la alza. Y eso es lo que estamos viendo en este momento, que en todos lados, en todas las temporalidades, no importa dónde lo escondas, hay muchísima fuerza y mucho momentum en el precio. También en la diaria tienes un cruce plateado fresquecito. Eso quiere decir que cada que viene el precio a tocar la 9 van a ser oportunidades de entrar. Y ahora, para todos ustedes que están preguntándose, ¿entro? ¿Cuándo entro? ¿Hago un corto o qué va a pasar? Lo que nosotros pensamos es que probablemente Bitcoin vaya a hacer algo así. Vaya a venir a pelearse esta línea, rechazar, venir a buscar más o menos. Esta es la primera posibilidad que tenemos, los 63,700 a 63,800 y la segunda es donde se encuentran estos promedios acá, que aún así estaría creando un bajo más alto en esta zona que el pasado, junto con este nuevo alto, lo que lo pondría en una excelente posición. Obviamente, nadie tiene una bola de cristal y nadie te puede decir hasta dónde puede rebotar el precio para abajo, igual y se va todo para arriba y olvídalo, pero sí creemos que muy probablemente porque todo el mundo en este momento está alcista, todo el mundo escuchó las noticias de China, todo el mundo está viendo la liquidez entrar al mercado, todo el mundo está ya cantando los $100,000, probablemente nos dé lo que Bitcoin siempre hace. Y esto fue lo que nos pasó en octubre del 2007, del 2007, wow, octubre 7 del 2023, el año pasado, donde yo le dije a todo el mundo, güey, expansión monetaria, guerra, y le mandé mensajes a todos mis cuates, ¿quieres comprar Bitcoin? ¿Quieres comprar petróleo? ¿Quieres comprar oro? ¿Quieres comprar esto? Y lo primero que hizo el hijo de puta de Bitcoin, que estaba en $28,000, fue esto. Se cayó. Y cuando se cayó, todos me escribieron, güey, ¿qué pasó? No, que Bitcoin. Les dije, espérate, tienes que aguantar vara. Muchísimos se salieron, otros se quedaron. Y gracias al cielo, yo me quedé simplemente por ver el setup que se estaba dando. Y en este momento se está dando un setup idéntico, pero con más fuerza en temporalidades más altas. Y eso es lo que nos hace pensar y nos pone objetivos de Bitcoin una vez que rompamos altos históricos que están por acá en los 73,700, 73,800, depende de tu exchange. Lo que creemos es que 77,000 será el siguiente objetivo después de eso, después de ahí 80, después de ahí 88 y ya de ahí se imaginarán paso a paso, uno por uno. Pero de nuevo, una corrección en estos momentos como para darte oportunidad de entrar es lo que esperamos. No quieres comprar acá, no quieres entrar en Max Long en este momento en lo que el precio está aquí, porque no hay nada aquí, no hay nada, no hay promedios, no hay una línea de resistencia, no hay absolutamente nada en este sector, por lo que tu oportunidad de entrada será una vez que llegues al 9 o tal vez al 21. Esto va a ser donde quieras tener tus entradas. Ahora, si ves que Bitcoin rechaza y rompe el bajo de acá, el de los 52,621, eso no se vería nada bien. Pero por ahora tienes un hombro, cabeza, hombro invertido, which is true, guys. You have a head and shoulders, an inverse head and shoulders right here. Hombro, cabeza, hombro. Y entonces esto simplemente lo pones acá y puedes medir cuánto mide este nepe. Es básicamente lo que vamos a ver en este momento, a dónde podría llegar eso. Digamos que está... Espérame.
Let's get that bull porn. Draw
Let's get
the
that.
draw the measured move. Let's get the bull porn.
Let's get it. What a fucking cocksucker. There you go. Okay. And then we go from here. What the fuck am I doing? And then you have the expansion.
It's gonna be over $100,000.
$80,000.
Interesting.
Beautiful.
Más confluencia de que este hombro, cabeza, hombro invertido que ya rompió a la alza nos va a llevar a los $80,000. Pero primero tenemos que chopear, porque todo el mundo ya está entrando, está muy contento. Max Long no va a funcionar así de fácil, señores. O tal vez sí. Tal vez sí.
You know what else is as nice as $80,000?
What?
This right here.
Some delicious water.
Some delicious water, people.
Hang on a second. Let me put you there. There you go. Which one are you drinking today? What's the flavor?
It is. I don't
It's
speak
the strawberry
Spanish.
one. Fresa. Does it say fresa?
Agua del Mantial Gasificada.
That's not it. Yeah, go on.
Te Verde plus Toronia.
Nice. So that's the green tea one. You want to take that before going to the gym or when you wake up. That's like giving you natural. It's a natural source of energy. So there you have it. What do you got there, Alex?
Yeah,
Just going natural.
It's one of the big bottle days.
By the way, those are our new labels. I haven't even seen them in person. I'm a fucking idiot. I need to go check those out.
You know, it changes colors. So on the inside, it's more lighter. It's pretty neat. I like it. It's very good water too. Alkaline as well.
My man. I appreciate it. Well, the secret there and what I want you guys having is natural water, like real mineral from what's it called? From spring water, basically.
Yeah.
Because purified water is fucking garbage.
This is the only sparkling water that I can actually drink.
Oh, good.
I usually fucking hate sparkling water.
You're not a sparkling water guy? I love sparkling water. It's my shit. That's all I drink. Well, that and all of my fucking poisons. Because I got to put in like so many salts and minerals in here.
Yeah, I'm one of those aspartame guys, and I like to sip my Coke Zero.
Coke. I feel like if I drink a Coke, I'll die instantly. But not because it's a bad product, just because I'm old. Kind of like, you know, people can eat McDonald's, but if I ate a McDonald's burger right now, I would explode. I would look like Christy Mack's vagina.
I'm a bad influence because before me, Alex didn't drink any of that diet shit. Now after me, Buddy is sipping those Coke Zeros.
Let's not say that, fine.
Let's not do that. Let's not talk about that.
No, I mean, we're turning a new leaf. We're being on our health arc, and we're drinking spring water. Because I agree, even just bottled water has chlorine. Shit ton of the source of their water is bad. Ton of just bullshit in it. In the States, I generally like to drink like Aquapana, the spring water in a glass bottle.
Same.
You know, so this is perfect. You know, this is
so glad.
I'm very stingy on the water I drink. I don't like to just drink every brand because not all water is created the same. So,
well, I'm going to do a shameless plug for you guys. Well, for all of us, basically, right here. And let us go into the next thing. Aquí tienen, estamos viendo el Discord de Elite Trading Academy y también les estoy dejando el enlace encima y lo tienen también aquí abajo, al igual que el de los exchanges. Bluffing, que es el que también funciona en Estados Unidos, funciona en todo el mundo, no requieres identificación, y también de BitGet, que funciona en todo el mundo menos Estados Unidos y sí requieres identificación. Mejores fees en BitGet si quieren, pero pues Bluffing lo hace bastante fácil. Este es nuestro Discord, damas y caballeros, es bien fácil de utilizar. Aquí pueden venir a darse una vuelta a ver los análisis del buen Alex, los análisis de Farhan también andan por acá. Pueden venir a platicar en el chat general y compartiremos todas sus estupideces. Acá tenemos el criptolingo para todos los que están empezando y están aprendiendo a tradear para cosas que tal vez no entiendan. Lo tenemos en inglés, también lo tenemos en español en esta zona. Acá es donde la comunidad comparte con nosotros sus P&L cards. Esto es una belleza, de verdad. Siento que no hay una comunidad que hace más varo que esta. Aunque acá le perdiste, mi querísimo Balística, acá sacaste 2%, pero 48%, 26%, 146%. Es una locura. Ay, güey, buena pérdida en esta. ETC, USDT, no sé qué sea eso, pero potente, 84%. No, man. Dude, guys.
Buddy bought a condo.
Did you see what just happened? What the fuck? Estábamos cagándonos de risa de Hondo que no te iba a comprar un condo, pero a este cabrón sí, a Marco le acaba de comprar un condo. Felicidades, Marco. 612%, pero también qué huevos, un 30x. Wow. Holy shit. What the fucking fuck?
I've never even heard of that piece of shit before, but I'm glad to see that my people are shorting the fuck out of it. I just don't.
Shit.
I just hope next time we don't see Binance and we see BitGet or Bluffin.
Dude, we got to get Marco in here. Yeah, I agree. I 100% agree with you. They got to fucking get on our exchange. What in the fuck? Marco is like taking the market by storm. 356% después del 600%. Marco, llámanos, güey. ¿Qué pedo? Marco knows something. He knows something that we don't. Pero bueno, este es nuestro Discord. También tienen acá en Partners los enlaces oficiales para BitGet, para Bluffing y para usar nuestro TradingView. Todos estos los exchanges son gratis y usando nuestro enlace te van a dar bonos y diferentes cosas, diferentes rewards, así que siempre es bueno usarlos. Si también estás tradeando en otra plataforma, ¿por qué no venir por dinero gratis y también poder participar en todas estas cosas? Y un $15 por si quieres comprar algún producto de TradingView, aquí lo tienes. Y es básicamente eso. Vámonos para adelante con el siguiente análisis. All righty, boys. We got, what was the next one?
You know who's one of the best traders of all time?
Who?
That dude TGE. Buddy bought his Courier GT at like 600K. Literally 3 months later, they went to $2 million.
Yeah, I missed that. I literally waited. I had my Courier GT for like 5 years, waited forever. The moment I sold, like that's exactly what happens to me in trading. The moment I sold it, they went up to $1 million. I was like,
and then that fag who bought it repainted it.
I know. I don't want to talk about it. What a fucking idiot. Either way, God bless him and hope he enjoys the toy. All right, Uber.
Nice. So we have Uber here. It's looking quite good. I like the 3-day view because it kind of ties into what I'm going to mention. And it's really basic for me here. So, you know, after barely reclaiming, but it did reclaim it, the meme line at $73.50. It's a major level we've been kind of just watching and talking about. You know, so reclaiming it and even backtesting, it's nice. It's great. You know, there's also a nice shift in trend here. You know, we see basically at this point, this was the last major lower high. You know, just like many things across the board that is more catered to risk. You know, we saw some rejection, we saw some downside, but the issue is, you know, instead this kind of just started to form a higher low. Kind of like what we're just seeing with like Bitcoin, Coinbase, etc. Where, you know, we dumped, but it didn't break down fully and break this low that it formed. You know, that it had here at least on August 2nd. And so what we have now is a confirmed trend shift. For me personally, I'd be a pullback would be welcomed here in my opinion. And that's kind of what we're getting now. I do think that this pullback could easily go down to this region, right around $73.50. I think there will be a very key reaction and potentially another opportunity to go long and actually target somewhere around $78 to $79, possibly $80. For me though, the monthly kind of puts this into a different perspective that makes sense. So if the monthly closes and we see the monthly is basically just like in most risk on assets that are in bull mode, getting supported completely by this monthly 9. What we have now is, it fully back tested, it came down, hit this and bounced, solidifying the support. Amazing. It's very healthy to see that. So now assuming, right, in 3 days, we close anywhere above $73.50. For me, I'd be watching for the next monthly open to come back down. Very much like what happened here. Did close, right here. We basically here reclaimed it, came all the way back down, tested it. It just wasn't able to hold this $73.50. For me, it made a lot of sense. People probably long this up for us to, get an okay closure on the monthly, but then actually open into a pullback. For me, the $73 region is pretty important. And the reason why I say I believe it lines up with the weekly here, assuming, again, we hold the $73.50. This weekly is closing in 4 hours. And so what we'd want here is this weekly 9 to actually move up and then possibly even go into the $73 zone, solidifying the support that we're talking about. For me, if we see that, it'll just be more of a conviction on why the $73 zone should hold. And I mean, when you zoom out and really look at Uber and you see the kind of range we've been in, the 73.50, price has been flirting with it a lot, especially on the weekly. It's welcoming to see the 3-day, the daily, the 2-day all shift trend, and even the weekly here as well. Breaking this last lower high was important. So now, the trend has shifted. For me, we have to look at this as the last lower high. So ideally, you wouldn't want Uber to go back under $67.16, and you should be more on higher low watch. That can either come with either consolidation at 73.50, in my opinion, assuming this weekly 9 goes up. But if not, then I'll just be looking at this 9 and 21 as support. Currently, right now, it's closing in a few hours. The 9's at $72.14. And the 21's at $70.50. So ideally, what we'd see is these move up. It matches price here with support. We start consolidating, and then this consolidation just leads to a bull flag to potential breakout again, or expansion, if that's what we call it. Because for me, the breakout's already most likely confirmed, considering the trend is shifted. And so, like I said on Bitcoin, where most go wrong when the trend shifts is they start longing up here and right here. It'd make a lot of sense to wait, let the monthly close happen, and then at least then watch this back test here. Ideally what we'd want is if price does dump majorly, then we have to look at the weekly 9. If we start losing that, then I'm focused on the 34. If the weekly on Uber starts closing back under the 34, to me, then the last area for bulls potentially is the $64.24 zone. Ideally though, what we don't want is just us to pop back into this range. This range that Uber's been, we can just see it more evidently here. We had the fake breakdown to break back in, came up. Now we're back above it. Bullish would be this consolidation with the weekly 9 supporting it. We wouldn't want us to fall back in. Wouldn't mean it's a death sentence. We'd have to start looking more at this 34, maybe get a bounce there. But we start just rejecting, then this would be the last spot for bulls, in my opinion, because then they could argue this could just be another higher low there. But
I reverse head and shoulders on the daily and on the weekly.
Let me see that
towards the upside.
Ideally, though, that's kind of what I'm watching for is just a pullback. I was looking because are you looking at this the potential?
That's a head. Yeah. So the first shoulder ends on that peak above your yellow line. And then it goes down into the head, and then it goes down to form the other shoulder. Like the breakout has already happened, and the target should be 94.
Yeah, the issue is I'm just not, because are you looking at this as the left shoulder? Because I was more looking at this.
Let me show you real quick, just so that you
because the right shoulder, to me, on my perspective, doesn't look more filled out, but it could be. I'm not sure. Let me see.
So let me remove these real quick and do this. You can even do it on the weekly, which I think it's what's crazy. because in here, so you have head, like shoulder, head, and shoulder. You see how it looks like a hanging dick? That's a perfect head and reverse head and shoulders. And if you put it on the daily, it's kind of like a right here. So you start with this one. This would be your first shoulder, your head, and your shoulder. So a lot of people might be faked out by this one, but this is a higher high. So
It's
eliminated.
the inverse dick and balls pattern.
It's the good old inverse. Exactly. Sorry. There you go.
No, you're right. I saw that. I'm more with these patterns. I'm just more stingy with them. So for me, I'd want this right shoulder to be more matched with the trough here. But you're right. And generally, there's no real. It's all just subjective. But you are right. And
what I call these the Quasimodo head and shoulders.
Yeah, I see why. You like the word bastardized, whatever you say. It's funny. Anyway,
yes, a bastardized head and shoulders or a Quasimodo head and shoulders.
I don't even know what that means. I just think it's funny when you say it. Anyways, yeah. So I mean, you could call it, and we are getting the breakout now. So like, I mean, that is kind of what I'm watching for, though. And like again, if we just zoom out, we've been in a range. And so ideally, if you're bullish, you would want this to be a flip. Like what was resistance now is into support. You would want this to be supported by, okay, the 9 is, if we haven't lost the daily 9, then cool, that should be support for now. But if we do lose this daily 9, for me, it's not a death sentence because this could just go right up to the 21, which lines up ideally nicely with the weekly 9, tapping it at least again. And then, maybe we actually do just consolidate for a little bit. Welcoming sign, though, is BBWP expanding from extremes now. And to me, that means that bulls have control, especially with the shift in trend. And so what we should all be on right now is higher low watch, assuming we don't just go up only. But now I have to look at this as a new range. I think it looks better on the 3-day. The 3-day, 9 is perfectly lined up with the zone we're talking about. So it'd be nice to tap it. We really analyzed this 9. We haven't really hit it in, a good amount of closures. So coming back down to here could be an opportunity zone. If we start closing back under $72.64, to me, we're back in the range. And I'll be looking at this setup to come back. And I want this to solidify the resistance. And then I'll be looking back at $64. But until then, to me, this is a trend shift. We're now in an uptrend. And we've now reclaimed a massive level that was resistance. So ideally, I just want price to come to me, prove to me that it's support, we get some consolidation, and then we get the expansion up to test this $80 zone. Massive level for Uber. And yeah, that's all I really have on that. It's looking great, especially, where the monthly is closing. We just ideally want to see where this closes. And then if it closes anywhere like this, watch into this next monthly for the back test on the monthly, because that'll be very key for me. Is okay, we reclaimed on this monthly, are we actually going to go back test it here to go up? And then that lines up with the 3-day testing the 9, the weekly possibly testing the 9. Good confluence in that area. We don't even use moving averages, and we just look at how it visually looks. It makes a lot of sense. Major rejection point on Uber, major support spot here, rejection point after deviation. This is looked at the higher low. We've made the higher high. Let's come down, make another higher low. And to me, it's very logical to target potentially $80 within the coming months. On the 3-day too, we're kind of seeing a momentum reset fully, so this can still come down. But the way I think it was the weekly looks and it's expanding, we would ideally, this can just keep consolidating down, which could line up with us just holding this and consolidating, actually letting the daily reset, right? Because it is slightly high. We could let this go back to 50%, which lines up with probably this retest thesis as well. And then possibly, when this BWP gets above 15%, once it hits extremes here, yeah, this will have a lot of momentum to push up. From this zone I'm talking about here to here, on stocks, it's 11 to 12% move. It's very impressive.
Nice.
Yeah, so watch very closely. Big gap here. We haven't really been in this range for a lot of time on Uber's history, but for what we see now, yeah, it shifted it. We've tested the support. Ideally, just let it keep holding as support, consolidate to push up to the extremity high of this new range, and it's supported with the trend shifts. Now we're in an uptrend, even the weekly. So
I want to show you something. This is all of Uber's chart on a monthly. That's a massive inverse head and shoulders. Massive. Like, this is the biggest one I've ever seen. It's from the start of the price going here, here, and here. And basically almost to the T, the channel would be the neckline for it to break to the upside. That's fucking wild. Why?
yeah, it's interesting.
What the fuck is Uber gonna do that's so explosive, like my diarrhea? I guess we'll see.
Maybe Uber will one day make a profit. Who knows, right?
It seems like they will. Maybe. Oh, you know what? Easy money is really good for Uber because that actually helps them. I guess easy money is really good for everyone. Hopefully someone will buy one of my companies with that easy money that they're gonna get, and you know,
Inshallah.
Inshallah, baby. Let's fucking go. Okay. All righty. You did Neo. Oh, okay. Neo Alex. NIO.
Okay.
Is that the scam electric car company?
Yeah.
Yes. There's no other way of putting it.
Mate Remark is taking their lunch.
He's going like this right now. Okay.
So like before we go, Uber news, maybe like so WeRide and Uber roll out autonomous vehicles in UAE. Apparently Uber Eats is partnering with Spirit Halloween across North America. So I don't know, but yeah, Uber is looking pretty good.
Halloween.
Yeah. Watch out, Uber. This Halloween promotion's really gonna take you to the fucking moon.
If you go to Zoran Cole's Twitter right now, it's a Spirit Halloween store.
No way. Jesus. Okay, here we go. Vale, tenemos Uber rapidísimo, lo estamos viendo. Quiero que vean algo para mis amantes de patrones. Esto es una tabla mensual. Olvídense los indicadores, olvídense de estas líneas que tenemos acá, pero ¿qué es lo que ven? Desde el principio esta madre ha hecho un hombro, cabeza, hombro. Entonces, básicamente esto podría ser un patrón alcista demasiado potente que probablemente digamos que rompa por acá. La línea del cuello sería más o menos por acá, para no tirarle tanto. Y si la llega a romper, obviamente esto va a tomar muchísimo porque es una, ¿cómo se llama? Es algo mensual, entonces tomaría como un año. $133 como objetivo de esta madre, que eso te llevaría básicamente a un 100% de ganancias en esta cosa porque se doblaría el precio. Vale. Puesto y derecho, pueden ver que Uber ha estado en esta tendencia, ha estado tradeando en este canal, está cotizando en 75.90 en este momento. Estamos viendo la tabla mensual que literalmente cierra en 3 días y 4 horas. Este cierre sería bastante bueno en estos momentos por acá. ¿Por qué? Porque vean, estamos arriba del 9, venimos, lo rechazamos y nos fuimos para arriba. Acá rechazamos el 21 antes, el 9 está por encima del 21, lo que nos dice que lleva bastante fuerza y buen momentum el precio para continuar esta trayectoria. En la semanal es un poco de lo mismo. Hace unas semanas el 9 se subió por encima del 21 y ha estado buscando este nuevo máximo. Tenemos este bajo, que ahora tienes un bajo más alto por acá, y lo que queremos buscar si somos alcistas es poder romper esta barrera en los 81.95, probablemente los 82. Pueden ver un poco de confluencia acá en el 55 con el 64 y la media de este canal. Cuando nos acercamos un poco más, podemos ver justamente esto, que literalmente estamos encima de la 9 está encima del 21, tuvimos un cruce plateado justamente acá y sigue siendo válido y nos está llevando a estos. Cada que venimos a tocar el 9 es donde tenemos una oportunidad de entrada. El 21 sería una excelente oportunidad de entrada en estos casos. El 9 se encuentra en el 75.20, que básicamente el precio está en el 75.96. Podrías contarlo como otra buena oportunidad, pero tienes que asegurarte de que puedas romper estos altos y que esto simplemente vaya a ser una oportunidad de compra antes de poder romper estos altos por acá. Básicamente, ¿qué es lo que estás buscando si eres alcista en Uber? Que te aguante mínimo el precio en 73.19 para poder tener continuación, que haya hecho un bajo más alto y seguir. No quieres que rompa los 67. Si rompe los 67 a la baja, probablemente estás rompiendo esta estructura alcista. Y arriba quieres poder consolidar por acá por un rato en los 81 y poder romper tranquilamente estos máximos e irte a nuevos máximos en Uber. No sé por qué Uber se ve tan alcista. No tengo idea, pero yo imagino que a todas las empresas con dinero fácil pues les va a caer muy bien, sobre todo a las empresas grandes, y es lo que estamos viendo en Uber, damas y caballeros, junto con esa ayuda de dinero fácil. Vale, all righty. Is far hand around, señor? Yes, all righty. Let's go, Nat Gas. Vamos a, let me just say, vamos a analizar Nat Gas porque UNG o Boyle son simplemente los although that's Bitcoin.
Yeah.
What's going on?
I wanted to show you guys one thing that I kind of
Okay.
missed last time I was looking at Bitcoin, is that right here on CME, we have a fresh silver cross to the upside on the daily. Not only do we have a fresh silver cross, check where we retested exactly to, right at the 9 EMA. So
Yep.
CME is looking insanely fucking bullish right now. It's looking at this point that we're probably going to $70,000, maybe 69s. And then I would look for a retest of the 9 EMA. This is going to move up after every single close. You know what would be picture perfect? If this 9 EMA moves right up to this meme line, right at $65,000. Get a retest of that, go to $70,000, reject, go back down to 65s, base around there, from there to $80,000. Let's pull up natural gas.
Looking damn good.
Many bulls just smiled, Farm. Many Bitcoin bulls just smiled.
That's right.
Dude, natural gas looks fucking bullish.
Bullish as fuck, right? Yeah.
Is Russia about to do some shit in Ukraine?
I just, yeah, I mean, at the same time, we're also getting 2022 vibes when all that shit happened in energy, because you saw, what's the nuclear one? I can't believe this. Like fucking nuclear energy basically going up, all of the materials, and the same thing is happening with natural gas. The only one that's coming down is oil, and oil can be an outlier right now because they want, it's elections in the United States. We want everyone to think that Biden and the Democratic Party has been able to help everyone with cheaper gas prices.
What's funny? Here is where the uptrend started for oil. It started right around like $2 area. Yeah, natural gas. It started right around $2.50, and it went up to, what is this, like $10?
Yeah, dude, crazy.
What happened right here? What happened right here?
Well,
what happened in January 2021? Senor Biden took office.
You're totally right. I'm not even thinking about those things. I'm like, there's no war, there's no this. You're right.
Like, you know how it works. The higher the gas prices go, the better the Democrats feel.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, because remember also, they were selling it like crazy, like pancakes they were going to sell it like to Europe. That was the move. So everybody bought nat gas knowing that was going to happen. It's not like it came as a surprise as most people think.
Whatever happened to Europe freezing? I was promised Europe freezing.
They also got lucky that they got good weather, but it would have been a crazy scenario if that would have been the case. But that's how also selling that is how they got to those prices.
Do you guys remember in 2018 when my man T.O. Donald Trump was saying that you guys are kind of bitches to Russia and you're relying on them for energy? And they laughed at it.
Yeah, and then they took it all away.
But right now we have a silver cross to the downside on the monthly. That's pretty significant. And every single time we tested this 21 EMA, we found it as resistance. So right now I'm expecting that the trend is going to continue. We're probably going to reject this 21 EMA. Even if we're bullish, we're probably going to reject it the first time around. maybe come back down to the 61.8%, which is right now at 2.475% ish area. If we close below this area, which is right around the open of this candle, which is at 2.476, 2.475. If you close below that, we will confirm a local high, and then we're probably coming down towards this median, which is right now just below 2% at 1.75%. But if we do close above this 21 EMA, we're going to probably get a free ride to the 55. And the 55 is at 3.24-ish, roughly that area. I don't think it's going to close above the 55. And the reason why I don't think it's going to close above the 55 is because right now, if you look at our HBR momentum, it's reaching very critical levels. We're already at 70%, and we're not even close to touching the 55 yet. Volatility is supporting it. So that is a bullish signal. But the fact that HBR momentum is this high up while we're not even close to touching the 55 tells us that we're very close to a local top. Maybe not a macro top, but a local top before we end up like getting a little bit of consolidation pullback, possibly a reversal. I'm not going to say a reversal yet because we don't have a confirmation yet. Everything still looks bullish. If you look at the jewel is basing off of this pink fast moving oscillator and it's flipping back around. It's still within the bearish control zone. This gray line right here is the bearish control zone at the 38. So as long as we're within the bearish control zone, we have to have caution towards the downside, and we have to be more protective of our initial margin. So whenever you're within the bearish control zone and you see momentum flipping up into the extreme zones, this is one of those high probability shorts that you could take. Not financial advice. I wouldn't take this trade personally because, in my opinion, this is in a no man's land right now. Yeah. I wouldn't take this, but you'd be much better off taking a short here than a long here. And what my stop loss would be, this is going to be a very big stop loss, but it would be a close above this 55 EMA. So this is one of those. This is the reason why I wouldn't take this trade, because the stop loss is so high up. It's how much higher from price action right now?
11%.
It's like 20% up from price action. So I wouldn't take this trade, but I would rather take a short here than I would take a long here. And I would expect for this 21 EMA to reject. And I would probably take my first TP right around here at 2.475%, 2.5%. And then from there, I would slap my stop loss at break even right when I entered. So even if it does go against me, I've already taken my profit and I'm out. Mm-hmm. But personally, I wouldn't take this trade. But it is looking more in favor of the bears right now than the bulls, in my opinion, as long as we're below this 21 EMA. We're also below the 21 EMA, we're below the 100, and we're below the 55. So it is looking like a little bit of a breakdown, and it's looking like a bearish retest before we end up breaking down lower. Let's see if I can get a fib from here.
You have the Pepperstone, not gas. I have another one, which is Capital Cum, but in my chart, it
Capital
is above 21. Yeah. Capital COM. Come.
I'm sorry. I'm a child. I'm sorry. All right. So right now we're just about to approach the golden pocket right here at the 61.8% and 65%. Which what I love to see is that it lines perfectly up with this 155 EMA. So that gives me confluence that if we close above this area, we're very likely going to break out and test this top area right here, which is right around $10. But until then, until we get confirmation, we're just in my opinion, we're in no man's land, and we're just waiting for a confirmation to break out. I wouldn't take anything here. If I had to, I would take a short here, but I wouldn't take anything here personally. I would wait for maybe get half a position in on this 21 EMA and get the rest of it in on this 55. And I wouldn't use very strong leverage either. I would use maybe like 2 or 3x. And you can't really you can't long this on leverage on one of the traditional exchanges. You have to use one of the non-traditional ones like BingX. Stay tuned, fellas. We will have a link for you soon for BingX. But right now, I wouldn't take anything here. And I would, in my opinion, this is a very risky trade because it is kind of looking like we're possibly going to break out because we have the startings of an uptrend where we have a low, we have a higher low, and then we have a higher high right here. I go off closures. So on closures, we do have a higher high. We don't have a higher high based off of wicks yet. As soon as we get a closure of above this wick, and what I love to see is that this wick high is lining right up with the 100 EMA. I didn't use the 100 EMA before. I only used the 9, the 21, and the 55. I only started using the 100 after I met Alex. And it's been a very good move because the 100 EMA is very, very significant.
Mm-hmm.
Like on this last lower high, where do we find it? Right at the 100 EMA. This one, 100 EMA. So if we do close above this 100 EMA, very likely we're going to invalidate the silver cross, and we're probably going to move up to this previous objective high right here, right around $7.40. Maybe, like, very likely we're going to go higher, and we're going to go up to these previous highs, like around $10. But I'm just waiting for this confirmation, because right now, if you see on the monthly, we are getting a breakout above this blue 38.2% zone. The last time we got a close above the 38.2% zone was right here, right in June of 2021. And when we got a close above the 38.2% zone, we got a very significant move. We got a move of 187% after we close above the 38.2% zone. So right now we are on the verge of that. The only difference, though, is that last time, whenever we closed above 38.2, we had a silver cross to the upside. Right now we have a silver cross to the downside. So we have to be more of a protective posturing right now. We have to be just watching and just waiting to get our confirmation. If we do get a close above this 100 EMA, though, at this point, I would be way more comfortable taking not a very high leverage long. I would say maybe like 5x. If you tell people 5x leverage in traditional markets, they'll say you're retarded and you're a gambler. But because we do crypto, 5x is nothing for us.
Nothing.
But I would look for, if we get any close above this 100 EMA, somewhat of a long here, and I would be targeting these highs here first at $7.50 and then $10. And then my stop loss would be any close below this 100 EMA. I wouldn't even wait for the monthly, because of the monthly is a very long time frame, and if you wait for the monthly, you can eat shit. So I would wait for, like, at the very least, like a weekly close. We close weekly below $3. After we tap it, I would say we have a local top in, and we're going to continue this trend towards the downside. But until then, I would not take any trades. I would just be watching. It is looking cautiously bullish to me, though. Check the quarterly. The quarterly right now is breaking above the 61.8%. If we do close above the 61.8%, I would say we're probably going to retest this 50% to the 38.2, which is right now around like $3.34 to $3.61. This is the logical area where I would take a trade. This is where I would take a high confidence short, and my stop loss would be any close above $3.50. If we close above $3.50 right here, which is right around like this previous projective highs, if we get anywhere above there, we're very likely going to come back to these previous all-time highs. But until then, I would not take anything. I would just wait for a confirmation. But it is looking very bullish. Let me check the RSI. I would love to see some bullish divergence on this RSI.
I'm sure you're going to find them like crazy. It's also another massive reverse head and shoulders on the weekly to the upside. An inverse, not reverse.
All right, so we did have some hidden bearish divergence on the RSI, but we have invalidated it because we made a local bottom right here. Right, and this is also a rejection of the bearish control zone. So usually whenever you get a rejection of the bearish control zone, you target the middle zone and then the bullish control zone. We've already tapped the middle zone. The middle zone is right now at $2.63. We've already tapped that. Our next target would be, if we continue from here, would be the bullish control zone. And that number is sitting right now at $3.98, right around $4 area. And then if you check the VMP, the Crown VMP, which is like the jewel, like once again, for everybody who was not listening before, it's the jewel, but it adds a volatility aspect to it. It's a little bit different from the jewel. The jewel is one of those big boy things. Like, don't worry about the jewel. But the VMP is the poor man's jewel. But right now we're getting a higher low on the jewel, and we're about to break out of the bearish control zone. This line right here, at the 38, is the bearish control zone, and we're getting volatility expansion as well. So it's telling us that, and plus, if we look at BBWP, which is volatility is flipping up also. So I'm struggling to find some hopium for the bears. I'm struggling. It's not looking good, bruvs, for the bears. Not looking good. Let's
No
see
matter the time frame.
on the quarterly, on the weekly right now, we do have a confirmed drive of hidden bullish divergence, and we have a rejection of the bearish control zone. We tried to retest the bearish control zone again, and we rejected it again, and now we're above the moving average. The moving average right now is sitting at $2.62. If we do get a weekly close above the moving average, we're very likely going to go up towards the bullish control zone. And right now, the bullish control zone sits at $3.29. So from multiple different setups we're looking at, we're getting this mid $3 number. What I'm thinking is that and it probably lines up with our EMAs too. Yes, perfectly with our 200 SMA. So what I'm thinking is that we go up towards that 200 SMA, that bullish control zone. Very likely we get an initial rejection, come back down to base off of this 100, and then from there I would look for expansion towards the upside. But from here I would be more of a protective posturing. I would not be looking for up only. I'd be looking for more of a higher low to get in on, or I would be looking for a local top to short. But I would not take anything at this point.
Yeah, unless you also break the previous high, then that's a higher low, higher high, and then that confirms all the bullish shit that you see, no?
Yeah. Higher high. You got any weed?
Soon. As soon as we're done. All righty. Thank you. And I don't know what PDD is, but that's next for you, Farhan.
PDD?
It could be P. Diddy. And if that's the case, make sure that you overlay it with baby oil stocks.
It's okay. I already have 700 dildos stocked up.
Perfect. Excellent. Then we're cooking. Now we're cooking. Vale, vamos a ver el gas natural. Lo vimos el día de ayer con el resumen del tío Salo. Se los había dicho por allá, pero vamos a empezar en la mensual rápidamente. ¿Qué podemos ver en la mensual? Venimos obviamente de estas caídas, de este pico que logramos en agosto del 2022, una vez que le vendimos a todos la idea de comprar gas natural de Estados Unidos en vez del ruso. De ahí hemos tenido una caída precipitosa. ¿Por qué? Porque han producido una cantidad brutal de gas natural. Tuvimos este alto, bajos, y has creado altos más bajos, también bajos más bajos, pero empezaste a formar acá un bajo más alto. Esto es un alto más alto que este y que este, lo que empieza a darnos una idea de un buen movimiento a la alza. Podemos ver que el precio, acá si nos acercamos un poco más, tuvimos este cruce plateado a la baja, lo que normalmente nos dice que el 9 nos va a rechazar, buena oportunidad de short, aquí tuvo una desviación, buena oportunidad, acá tuvo otro rechazo, pero esta vez lo rompió a la alza y está rompiendo el 21 también a la alza. Eso es en la tabla mensual. Puedes ver que está en 2.8, $2 con 8 centavos, con 80 centavos. El precio está cotizando en 2.9, el 21 está en 2.877, para que tengas eso como referencia. Vámonos rápidamente a la semanal, y en la semanal podemos darnos cuenta, acá importante, esto es algo que quiero que tomen nota. Este alto es igual que este, pero este es más alto. Entonces, empiezas a formar este bajo, un bajo más alto, un bajo más alto, y ahora esto tiene que romper el nivel de los 3.2, casi. Tienes que romper esto. Lo interesante de la confluencia de eso es que tienes el promedio de los 100, que literalmente te está rechazando en este momento, y va a ser cosa de literalmente ser paciente y esperar a ver si el precio puede romper no solamente el promedio de las 100 en la semanal, sino que también esta zona, y poder crear un nuevo alto. Por ahora, cada que ves este tipo de encontronazos con el promedio de las 100, por ejemplo, te da una oportunidad de que probablemente va a tener un retroceso el precio, que es una buena oportunidad de entrar, pero ahorita estás en zona de nadie. Eso sin lugar a duda. Cuando volteamos a ver en la diaria, vemos que tuvimos un cruce plateado por acá. Estás por encima de la 9 y vas a buscar estos máximos. Una vez más, quieres romper este máximo en 3.18 y poder llegar a tener cierres acá. ¿Por qué? Porque si nos hacemos un poco más para atrás, puedes ver, esto es un hombro, cabeza, hombro. O si lo quieres ver más, todavía más fácil, en la semanal se nota aún más. El fabuloso hombro, cabeza, hombro. Y esto obviamente te pone en alto, te lleva a los altos que habíamos visto antes. De nuevo, puedes ver cómo el promedio de las 200 está acá en el 3.8. Personalmente creo, y también Farhan, que si rompemos esta zona del 3.2, nos vamos a ir a los 3.8, lo que sería bastante alcista para Boyle, UNG y todo eso. De donde estamos a ese precio, estás hablando de un 31%. Así que lo importante sería esta zona, asegurarte que rompas este alto en el 3.18 y ver si te rechaza en este momento el promedio de la 100. Y si sí, tu oportunidad, como siempre, después de que el 9 se va por encima del 21 y que probablemente vayas a tener un cruce plateado pronto también en la semanal, tu oportunidad es compra cada que llegue a la 9, al listoncito azul que ves ahí. Vale, pues vámonos a ver Neo, damas y caballeros, como de que no.
Oh, cool. Okay, cool. So here's Neo. I think the daily is actually interesting. Because what we see here is, after we basically came down, rejected our mean line resistance, came all the way down. This is when Neo started to form some structure here. Made a low, couldn't break the last low, got the rally up, consolidation right under resistance, kind of flirting with that daily SMA 200. As soon as it basically reclaimed the 9, we got expansion up, and then we've now just been kind of hanging around this $5.72 range. Why I think this chart's interesting is because we see a few points here, especially let's go to the 2-day. So on the 2-day, it's interesting to me because we basically have a fresh silver cross to the upside supported by the 9. That's the first point. The second point is we do see in a very long time actually, Neo's actually reclaimed its 2-day EMA 100. Similar to what happened here in this vertical line here is a representation of the last 2-day silver cross that happened. There's not really many that have happened on this chart, but we can see the reaction of the ones that have. We've essentially gotten a retest of the 9, and then we got big expansion. This one being the biggest in 2020, and then the most recent one was here. And even on this cross, it doesn't seem like it was a lot. But once this crossed over from here to the closure from the wick high, nice 36% move. So, ideally, that's kind of what we have now. What I'm watching first, though, is I do think that right now, Neo, bulls have control. I do think that what we could see potentially is, BBWE can stay at extremes for a while, kind of like what we saw here in August of 2023. Ideally, what we'd want is maybe a little push up to 670, maybe a wick to $7. And the reason I'm saying that is because if we go to the 3-day, we are basically pressing that resistance along with this dotted line resistance. And it can also line up with a gap fill here. It would make a lot of sense for me to come up, maybe find rejection around this zone. And I think the 2-day represents this better. And then, since we have a fresh silver cross to the book, what we do is we bid the 9. So ideally, this 2-day 9 comes up more with price, meets with this EMA 100, or even preferably goes above it. So now we have the fast moving average.
Also the mean line too.
Yeah.
And that too. Once it's all, yeah, no, exactly. So then ideally what we'd want is just a back test of it, throw back to it. We could easily come back up to $7, $6.70 as represented on the 3-day. And a potential gap fill. Was that the 3-day gap fill? Yeah, right here. But overall, I'm looking for this spot here to reject. And what would be nice potentially is us to come down. Maybe it comes up like this, and then it'll come all the way back down. Actually test the 9, maybe a little lower. And then that could give us our spring, in my opinion. To me, that'd be very bullish. It's something I'll be watching for. Because that is what we should be looking for if we have a fresh silver cross, not on the 3-day, but on the 2-day, which is very evident here. It's very clean. It's nice when you get the 9, the 100, a meme line here, lining all around the same area, because then that tells us, okay, the spot here is going to be pretty important for price. So for me, that's kind of what I'm waiting and watching for. Chart's looking good, though, and it's looking quite bullish. And just like a lot of things we're seeing this flip the trend. In my opinion, this was the last major, you could call it this one here, major lower high right here. Because it would be this one because this led to the lower low. So right at, let me see, get the right number, $6.05 was the level bulls need to break. As soon as we did break that $6.05 level, that's kind of where we just started to go up, $6.05 right here. Yeah, as soon as it wicked above it, now we're getting the expansion up. And it makes sense. Now the trend is shifted, especially on the weekly, the trend shifting on the weekly, with also a nice cross of the 9, crossing above the 21 with a 2-day silver cross. To me, we should all just be watching and waiting for an easy pullback to this $5 zone, $5.65 zone. To me, I think that is simply put an opportunity. And then I think that'll also allow what's called BBWP on the 3-day, especially on the 2-day as well, to actually get out of extremes here, start curving down, and go, start resetting essentially. To me, that it's very logical. That gives BBWP momentum, time to reset. It gets the late longs flushed out. It solidifies the silver cross by retesting the 9, while ideally holding this EMA 100 still. If it can do all that, then ideally what I'm watching for is potential rejection here, and then I'll be watching, engaging the reaction essentially at this. What was it? Was it daily? I think it was. No, it must have been in the 3-day or 2-day. I'll essentially be watching. Yeah, it was a 2-day. I'll essentially be watching the reaction of this SMA 200. This is a major spot, and keep in mind, since we lost it here back in December of 2021, we've only hit it one time. So this rejection, it makes sense that we did reject off of it the first half. Pretty nasty move down. Now we're testing it again, lined up with the mean line resistance, lined up almost with the 3-day EMA 100. Ideally, this will be the next target. I do think we get a pullback first. I think people are going to front run this. Make a lot of sense for us to roll over, come down, base at $5.50, $5.60, tap the 9, and then actually test this. If history has shown us anything, these silver crosses, once they cross, they actually work pretty fast with NEO. We can see here, upon cross, it basically, we just went up only. I thought that's interesting, but then when I viewed it on this point too, as soon as we got the cross, we came down and then it just went up only. Do I think it's going to happen again? No, but I do think that will give us enough momentum to at least test this SMA 200 on the 2-day. Ideally, if we start reclaiming this, this will be a major shift, not only in trend, but just an overall price structure. We can see something that's been holding price down for such a long time. It is giving us the vibes of what happened when it basically got back above this SMA 200 here. Once it did, with the silver cross active, it basically supported the bull market thesis of this being supported by the 9 and being in a very strong uptrend. To me, this will be a major shift if you can do that. Currently at $7.25, and we'll keep moving down. We're starting to see it kind of base out here. So ideally, it's going to line up perfectly with this dotted line. This zone will be very important for NEO. If it does end up rallying above all the major moving averages like it did here, but reject here, leaving a nasty rejection candle like we saw here with the shooting star, to me then it would be a sign to be very cautious. And then what would be something, because I don't want to short that there. It's an area where we'd be watching. If we start rejecting and coming down, cool, I'm going to be focused on this area, assuming we don't just roll over now, which we very well could. If we start then losing that EMA 100, very much like here, this will be my signal to start taking shorts on the retest. And then very much so, what happened? We get the breakdown. So it's in a very precarious spot. NEO's looking more bullish than bearish, of course, but we just can't disregard certain levels and zones. But it's very close. Once this 2-day reclaimed this SMA 200, to me, it'll be the bulls will have full control, in my opinion.
Whenever you get a chance, can you switch to the quarterly?
Yeah.
So you see that initial breakout right there on the left side, right before we initially broke out. That is right before 2019. This is where I was max bearish on NEO on solomonitor.com, and I ate shit.
No way.
Bearish here. The one time he's bearish.
The one time this dude was bear. No wonder why he's not a bear.
He doesn't like being bearish anymore. God damn.
By the way, I'm still owed about 55,000 penis points.
Listen, those are gone, son. We inflated them to oblivion, and now 55,000 penis points are worth $2.
Well, like when we view the monthly too, it kind of actually comes more into it starts telling us a story. And so like what we saw here is last monthly, we basically reclaimed the 9, rejected, I'll delete this now, rejected the 21. Came cool, that's fine. We would then expect this next month to come back down and actually hold the 9. It did not. It then flipped into resistance, and then that's where we started to break down hard. Now, the nice part about here is we're getting a monthly closure in 3 days. Most likely, we're probably going to close above the 9. Now, we don't know, and I don't front run things, but most likely, 18% from that point, most likely. But anything can happen in 3 days. Assuming it does, this actually lines up perfectly with what I'm saying. Where this could definitely have a pullback right here. Maybe it gets to the $7 zone, but I'm expecting a pullback when we close above the monthly 9. What would be very logical to me is actually retesting this 9, very much like what we saw here. But instead, the difference will be hopefully this 9 actually flips, holds into support, and then we get to move up and actually contest this monthly 21 right at $8.52. To me, this will be a big spot. Overall, we want to wait and see where this monthly 9 closes. Reclaiming the 9, though, is a very, very good sign. Now, if we reclaim it, cool. When you're viewing it in a monthly, it's kind of like this kind of shows you anyone who's thinking of longing it. It's kind of like, well, why would you want to long this? Just wait for the closure. Let these late longs get smoked. Let us come down. Actually test the zone that we have major confluence of. Not only just on the monthly, but on the 2-day, the 3-day, the daily. Actually come down, and then based on it as support, a nice flip of what was resistance. Each time this came up to it, rejected. Now flipping it into support, very much like what we saw here. Closed above, came down, hit it, and then big expansion up. And then anytime when NEO was in bull mode, up until we started really losing it, but even at this point, the choppiness still was an opportunity that led to at least an easy trade, of 34%. So NEO's really shifting its chart. Big things are coming for NEO in terms of price action, as long as, in my opinion, and this will be the big confirmation of me. I know I haven't viewed the daily because the daily looks good. It's being supported by all major moving averages, was chopping around the SMA 200, reclaimed it, and now we're getting that support again of the 9, which again just lines up with this zone that we just keep mentioning over and over. I think the 2-day, though, is a better view, especially with the silver cross. I think that this is a better representation because, instead of viewing it on the 1-day where we're getting all this chop, cool, we'll cut that in half, we'll do the 2-day, and now the chop becomes, less noticeable. It kind of ignores the noise. We see this EMA 100 was a major rejection point on NEO, and even throughout history it was right here as well. Reclaiming that's a good sign. Good sign. It's not, bulls are losing steam in the sense that they want this to reset, this BBWP. So it would make a lot of sense to just come down at this 550, 560, retest the 9 for the fresh silver cross, hold the EMA 100, and then test this SMA 200. If we start on the 2-day reclaiming this SMA 200, for me, I'll be very bullish on this chart because that means that everything on all time frames have basically reclaimed the levels, especially like on the monthly, and then even the weekly as well. The weekly will be a big one for me, though. If it can also reclaim this, if we reclaim the 2-day SMA 200, the weekly then will be the next focal point. And that's currently right now, right? It's going to keep moving down. Ideally, it matches this zone here at $8.40. But as it stands, it's currently at $9. If the weekly then can, reclaim that, then yeah, for me, I think we need to start looking more at this $13 high, in my opinion. But over time, right? Over time, one thing after the next. So for now, if I was trading this, I'd be focused on the 3-day, the daily, and then also most importantly, the monthly. I'll want to see the reaction of where this monthly opens, where this 9 goes to. Do we fall into the 9? Do we start getting lower time frame bullish reversal signs after the monthly just hit the 9 on open? To me, that could be an opportunity, and I'll be watching that very closely. And as Bard mentioned, to view the quarterly, and we already did, but we can't disregard this massive hammerhead on the quarterly, a candlestick that we haven't really had on NEO. We still are under the 9, that's fine, but this just solidifies that this still can get a pretty nice bounce, even from on a quarterly standpoint. From where it's at now versus where the 9's at, it's still a 52% move, 50% roughly, and this will move down. Ideally, it moves down a little bit closer to this line here, and then it just solidifies this area at $8.50 being, a massive level for me, which then corresponds with this weekly EMA 100. So overall, very good chart. Trend is shifting. We just ideally want that silver cross to get tested. And again, one more time, just watch that $5.55 to $5.60 very closely, because the chart is telling me at least that that just could be another opportunity for a place to bid. And we know, because there's not many silver crosses on the 2-day that we've had, silver crosses on this chart, NEO, usually end up giving us these big expansion moves pretty fast. Actually, it's never like a plays with it. It's like it comes down, taps the 9, and then booms, pops up 20%. Unsure if it'll happen now, but it's looking pretty good.
Well, consider it's a Chinese stock, and China is expanding their monetary. They're basically creating monetary expansion right now and giving money to everyone, and literally they're giving checks to people that are in extreme poverty. So yeah, they're probably going to see the same type of reaction. That if it was me just wild guessing, I don't know if it'll get to all-time highs, but should get close to it, right? I mean, just based on temporality.
On the monthly right now, as long as we close above $6.05, we're going to confirm several drives of bullish divergence.
God fucking damn, this might be it. Like, it's so cheap. There's a lot of 605.
Oh, so yeah, that's pretty good. And that kind of lines up with the monthly 9. Like, it's good. It's reclaiming the monthly 9. It's very welcoming. It's been basically battered down and under it since we lost it in August 2023. So it's very welcome that it's now reclaiming it. Let's just get that back test. Could be a very big opportunity though. If you hold NEO, at least I could see, I don't know if it'll go to all-time high, but at least the very least it could easily go back to $13 in my opinion, which is still a massive move for this stock. So
I got a good one for you, Alex. Next, Ferrari.
Oh wow, I didn't know they had a stock.
Oh yeah. Okay. All righty.
Close your eyes, Alberto.
No. No, pasta, pizza. I'm going to put this on and let's go. Vale, estamos viendo NEO. Algo importante que decir de NEO es una acción china. Entonces, en China hay expansión monetaria, estamos viendo que hay estímulos por todos lados y sobre todo estamos hablando de $500 billion entrando a la economía china, lo que despertó a las acciones, despertó básicamente todo en China. Esta es una acción de China y vale la pena decirlo desde el principio. ¿Por qué? Porque vimos que NEO tuvo máximos históricos por ahí de los 66.9 y ha tenido mínimos históricos en los 1.14. Entonces, ha hecho un 69x del mínimo al máximo. En este momento, NEO está cotizando en $6.57. Y esto que están viendo son velas trimestrales, velas de 3 meses. Vimos que nos rechazó ya el promedio de las 9 en esta vela el 23 de julio. Nos venimos para abajo y estamos justamente en esta zona. Cuando nos acercamos un poco más, sobre todo en la mensual, podemos empezar a ver acá algo diferente. Hemos visto que en el pasado, una vez que hubo este cruce entre el 9 y el 21, el 9 bajando, que es el azul, y el 21 arriba, una vez que eso pasó, cada que tocas el 9, oportunidad de short. Tocas el 9, oportunidad de short. Tocaste el 9, tuviste una desviación, oportunidad de short, oportunidad de short, oportunidad de short. Pero ahora sí está rompiendo a la alza esta vela mensual que cierra en 3 días, 4 horas, lo mismo con la trimestral que acabas de ver. Entonces, con que NEO básicamente pueda cerrar arriba de los $6 con 5 centavos, también en la tabla, en los indicadores de momentum de Farhan, eso le está dando tres divergencias alcistas al precio de NEO. Entonces, lo primero que estás viendo es retomar esto, que la 9 que está en los 5.66 está por encima. Tu siguiente objetivo van a ser por acá de los 8 en la mensual, pero nos vamos a acercar un poco más en la semanal, donde oficialmente hemos tenido un cruce para arriba del 9 y el 21. ¿Cuándo fue la última vez que vimos eso? Acá en esta expansión pasada de precio, y vean lo que hizo eso. Una vez que el azul se fue encima del amarillo, estás hablando de acá a acá, fue un 70%. Y eso es justamente lo que se está dando en la semanal acá. Antes de eso, ¿tenemos otro de esos cruces? No. Para que tengan una idea de lo fuerte que es ese cruce. Y ahora, vas a venir a pelearte con el promedio del 100 muy probablemente, como lo hizo por acá, y eso está en los $9. De los 6.58 es casi un 30% de expansión de precio. Una vez más, ¿dónde está el promedio de las 55 en 6.29? Que es más o menos donde queremos cerrar. Es un poco arriba de lo que queremos cerrar. Pero vamos a voltear a ver la de 2 días, donde Alex nos enseñó un par de cosas interesantes. En la de 2 días, solamente hemos venido a probar el promedio de las 200 una vez. Y eso pasó en agosto del 2023, cuando el precio llegó a tocar los 16.22 y luego se dio la vuelta hasta abajo. ¿Cuándo más el precio ha superado el 200? Aquí. Y en donde lo superó, que pueden ver esa línea morada, de la línea morada a la parte alta de precio, estás hablando de 1,400%. Yo creo que a cualquiera le hubiera ido muy bien simplemente apostando en eso. Entonces tengan los ojos bien pelados para el promedio de los 200, que en este momento se encuentra en 7.25 en la temporalidad de 2 días. Hemos superado no solamente estar por encima del 9 y el 21, y el 9 está encima del 21. También tenemos un cruce plateado a la alza, lo que nos dice y pone una zona de congruencia acá con el promedio de la 100, que es el rojo, y el azul, que es el 9, por ahí de los 5.59. Muy probablemente con este cierre estos promedios van a subir y va a entrar una oportunidad de compra a cierto punto en el retesteo del 9, que es normalmente cada que está el precio por encima de ello, y lo pueden ver lo poco que está, es cuando es una oportunidad de compra. Y ahora tienes también el promedio de los 200 entrando en la 7.25, que también coincide con esta línea de soporte o de resistencia, dependiendo de cómo se vaya a dar, y muy probablemente no lo vayas a romper a la primera, sobre todo considerando que en la de 2 días solamente lo has hecho una vez desde que lo perdió el precio por completo. Entonces, probablemente tengas la oportunidad de un rechazo y poder ver, no perder este cruce del 21 y el 55 plateado a la alza, y poder tener tu entrada por acá. NIO se ve bastante alcista, estás creando estructura alcista, tienes este bajo que está un poco más alto, este bajo que es definitivamente más alto, este bajo que es definitivamente más alto. Acabas de superar todos estos altos, y tu siguiente alto a superar va a ser este por acá de los 9.58, que coincide en temporalidades más grandes con, por ejemplo, el promedio de la 100 en la semanal. En la de 2 semanas coincide con el 55, y en la mensual está, bueno, estarías arriba del 21, y eso sería, arriba del 21, y eso sería absolutamente brutal para el precio de NIO. Así que NIO bastante alcista. Vámonos a P. Diddy con Farhan. I'm assuming this is a baby oil company.
P. Diddy.
P. Diddy. Damn, P. Diddy looks bullish. This P. Diddy, not the actual one that's in jail, okay?
Yeah, that one's looking quite bearish.
That one's looking bearish as fuck. Some would say even rapish.
Imagine you're one of those guys who got diddled by the diddler,
He gets
and then bro gets thrown in jail before he can make you famous.
No, I'd rape him right there and then. No, but he would like it. I don't know what I would do. Like, if Diddy's going to enjoy the rape, then what do you do?
Buddy already gave you the full 7 or 8 inches.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I don't know in those scenarios. We're going to have to ask the public, what would you do if you were in prison with P. Diddy and you want to do something bad to him? You can't rape him, because then
he's going to like it.
He's going to enjoy it. He's probably going to end up begging you to do it again. So you got to figure this out.
Do you remember back when Justin Bieber was like 15 or 16?
How can I forget?
And Diddy goes, why don't you hang out with me anymore?
Yikes.
Dude, Diddy has said to Justin Bieber in so many different clips too, so many weird things. Weird things. Can't be good. All right, let's see. P. Diddy.
Justin Bieber has taken the Diddy several times. I can't lie though. My man has a good voice. He can sing.
Yeah, he does. I like Justin Bieber.
I think he's in the same. P Diddy's in the same prison as SPF.
No. They're on the same cell, son.
Oh,
They're cellmates, which is ridiculous.
Did you hear how Sam Bankman-Fried is still trading in prison?
I don't know how that's possible. Do people in prisons have internet?
Buddy is trading rice in prison.
Yeah, right.
That I believe. I would trade cigarettes. I feel like that's gonna get you the most love.
I think so.
Once a trader, always a trader.
That's right. That's motherfucking right.
All right, so on P. Diddy on the monthly, we are getting a strong bounce off of this 55 EMA because we still have, it's not really a silver cross because we don't have that much data, but the 21 is still above the 55, so you could consider it a silver cross. We're getting a bounce off the 55, and we're getting some strong expansion towards the upside. We're currently very strongly over the 38.2%, which is at $125.80. So as long as we're above this 38.2%, we have to assume that pressure is on to the towards the upside. And if we close above here, our first target is going to be, last time we had our projected high, we rejected the median. So right now the median is sitting at $150.28. As long as we close above 38.2%, we're at the very least going to hit the median. But since we've already rejected it here and then rejected it here, it's going to be not as strong on the next tap. So I don't want to say very likely, but it's very likely the next tap we're probably going to break the median, and we're probably going to go towards the top 38.2%, which right now is sitting right around $200. If you look at our HPR momentum, it is flipping up. It's still negative. It's negative 29.41%, but it's not looking the worst because we've made a lower low here on the HPR momentum, while price made a higher low. So technically, this is giving you hidden bullish divergence. As long as we close above this 38.2%, this hidden bullish divergence is going to confirm. And from there, we probably hit these previous projected highs, which lines up perfectly with the median at $150. And then we look at the Jewel. Jewel right now is flipping on a downwards curvature, where you're getting this dark blue signal, and you're crossing below the pink fast moving average. Although you have to take it with a little bit of a grain of salt because you don't have that much data right now on PDD. So the pink has only started populating around March of 2024. So yes, we are below the pink, but we've only had the pink for a couple of months. So you got to take that with a grain of salt. And it is looking kind of bullish right now as long as we're above $125.80. We check the quarterly. The quarterly has a bounce perfectly off of the 21 EMA, and it's going back up, and it's rejecting the median. Right now, what I consider as the breakout zone to new all-time highs is quarterly close over the median, which right now is at $153.40. If we do get a quarterly close over that, we're almost certainly going to hit this top 38.2% based on off of statistical probabilities, which right now is sitting at $266. But we're just waiting for this quarterly close. Right now, we're rejecting the median. If we keep rejecting the median like this, our probabilities shift towards the downside, and we're probably going to go down to this bottom 38.2%, which is at right around $69.
Very nice.
Perfect number. And our momentum is shifting down in the HPDR momentum, while volatility is shifting up. That is not the most bullish signal. Whenever momentum is shifting down and volatility is shifting up, that's telling you that pressure is on towards the downside. So if we don't get a close over this $153 number, $153.50, let's say, to be fair, pressure is on towards the downside towards $69. But right now, it's not looking too bad based on the monthly. And if we close over this area, we're probably going to break that area. We're probably going to continue higher. But we're just waiting for this monthly and quarterly closure. We only have about 3 days left. So, and this is a traditional stock. It's not a shitcoin. It's not a crypto. So it doesn't move like cryptos do. So very likely we're probably going to close over this area. After that, I would be looking for more continuation towards the upside. but I would be waiting to see where the HPDR ranges move after this next monthly and quarterly closure. On the weekly right now, we are strongly above 38.2%, but we are rejecting the median. So what would make a lot of sense if we close this weekly in 3 hours right now like this, is that we're probably going to come back down to retest this 38.2%, which is right around $125. And then from there, I would be looking for a maximum opportunity zone towards this top 38.2%, which right now is at 158. And I would have my stop loss at any close below. I wouldn't use the 38.2%. I would use the 21 EMA. So if we get any close below like right around $123, I'd get out and I would say we're probably going to come back down and break these lows, maybe somewhere around $84, possibly down here to $69. Very nice number, like the number we looked at before.
And that's just basically losing the 21.
Yeah, so I'm just waiting for this next weekly open.
Yeah.
As long as we close like this, we're probably going to come back down a little bit, consolidate, maybe a little pullback before we continue get our continuation to the upside. But if we do close over the median right now, which is at 140.183 on the weekly, we have a statistical target of the top 38.2%, which is right around that $158 number. So that number keeps coming back up, $155 to $160 number.
Yeah.
And we have to wait until we get this confirmation. If we don't get it, we're probably not going to go straight there. We're probably going to get a pullback consolidation before we go there. But if we close over that 141, let's say 142, we're probably going to go straight to that 150s before we get consolidation. I'm not on that camp right now. I'm more on the camp of that we're probably going to find some local top right around this area, pull back, and then make our next move. But I've been wrong lots before, so I could easily be wrong, and maybe we just go straight up to $155 to $160. I don't think it's going to happen, but it's very possible.
It's a tricky one, this one, because it's making like higher highs, and it kind of just made a lower low, but like on the big trend, still up. Like it's a very 50-50, and it's like above moving averages, but not like strong.
So right here on the monthly, we do have a confirmed drive of bearish divergence, but it's not the worst because we've already hit the easy target, which is the 21 and the 55 EMA. We've already hit them. We've broken below the bullish control zone. So what I'm waiting for now is if we can get a close back within the bullish control zone. That number is, thanks to this RSI tells you, that number is at $143.98. Let's say $144. If we do close back above that, pressure is back onto the upside, in my opinion, and we're probably going to retest these previous highs right around 100 and that $150 to $160 number that we were looking at before. We're just waiting for this confirmation if we break back into the bullish control zone. On the quarterly, we don't have anything. On the weekly, not much, to be honest. We do have a lower low on the RSI while we have a higher low on the price action. So this is technically some hidden bullish divergence between this point and this point. But actually, what is this price here? $113. No, there's no hidden bullish divergence. My bad. I'm sorry, bulls. I try to find some hopium for you.
Damn it.
There's no hidden bullish divergence. What I'm looking for on the weekly right now is as long as we close over this 21, we probably will come back up to retest these highs up here at around 150. I wouldn't take any trades here. I would just wait for that 150 number. Maybe I would take like a low confidence short there at low leverage, and I would have my stop loss at this previous projective high, like right here at $165. But I wouldn't feel very good about it. I would feel kind of scared. I wouldn't take it. What I would more feel high confidence about is if we close above this area at 152, then I would probably take a high confidence long, and I would be targeting right around, let's see, right around this $211 number. But I'm waiting for that close over 152. If we get that, then I would take the long towards that Fibonacci target we had before, and I would have my stop loss at any close below the 21 EMA. Because if we close below the 21 EMA, then we've made a deviation, and we're probably going to end up making it a new lower low. But until then, I'm just waiting for the confirmation, and I'm thinking it. I'm more cautiously bullish. I don't want to say like bearish. I don't want to say bullish. I'm just cautiously bullish. It's looking good as long as we keep closing above this area, right around the
Mhm.
21 EMA. So if we keep closing above the 21 EMA, we're probably going to come back up towards these higher numbers over here. And then we check at the 5-day, nothing, 3-day. The daily also has some confirmed multiple drives of hidden bullish divergence. It has 1, 2, 3 drives of confirmed hidden bullish divergence within the bearish control zone. But right now, we've already hit the easy target, which is the bullish critical. So at this point, like, I would more be comfortable on the side of caution because there's only so much momentum the bulls can keep up to keep it within this area. And what's going to confirm it is if we look at the momentum chart. I'm pretty sure momentum is going to be very, very high up right now. Yeah, I just said that. So momentum is currently down as long as price is below $138. Not only that, but we're getting kicked out of the bullish critical zone. And right now we're about to bounce. We're trying to bounce right around the bullish control zone. So if we can close above $138, it's going to maintain the bullish control zone, and that's going to keep the bullish hopium alive for us to make new. I don't want to say new all-time highs, but at the very least retest these previous rejective highs, possibly a little bit higher to the previous all-time highs, like right around like $180. But I'm waiting for this confirmation. It's not looking too bad right now as long as we're bouncing at the edge of the bullish control zone. If we hold the bullish control zone, based off of my system, we're probably going to end up retesting these previous highs. But we have no signal until the monthly closure. Check the quarterly. Quarterly is strongly up as long as our price is above $59.16. But this number is going to move up after this next quarterly closure
Aggressively in 3 days.
Yeah, because right now we're at the edge. We're just about to touch the neutral zone. We're about to enter the bullish control zone. So whenever it enters the bullish control zone, it takes that much more momentum for the bulls to keep it up. The bulls are gonna need to take a Cialis like Farshad. But once it gets to that area, it's going to be that much harder to keep it up. And we're probably going to be looking for a little bit of consolidation, maybe a pullback. But we have no idea until we get our next quarterly open. So right now, we can just go off of speculation that we're about to enter the neutral zone. We're about to cross into the bullish control zone. So we have to wait for what this pivot goes to. I'm pretty sure it's going to go up. If it goes above price action, it's very bearish. And we're probably going to end up getting a little bit of a pullback. Maybe down to this 90 EMA at $111, maybe this 21 EMA, like right around $89, $90. But it's speculation until we get the quarterly open.
Yeah.
On the weekly, though, the weekly momentum is pointed sharply towards the upside as long as price is above $119.55. And it's rejecting the it's about to get out of the bearish control zone. Right now, it's at 27%. When it gets above like roughly the 35, 38% area, then it's out of the bearish control zone. And then I don't want to say free move, but we get a pretty easy move towards the middle zone. This indicator doesn't tell you what price that would be. But right now, that would be around the 50% area on the stochastic momentum. So we probably lines up with the retest of these previous highs right around 150 to 160. But until then, I'm just waiting for this monthly and quarterly closure. This is going to be a very big signal for us. If we do get the confirmation, then we're going to move up to 150, 160. Maybe get a rejection there. Maybe get a little consolidation before we move up higher towards previous all-time highs. But it's looking pretty good right now. It's looking pretty good.
It's looking good, but not great.
It's looking okay.
It's looking okay. Exactly. All righty. We'll go into Ferrari right now. 1 second. And after Ferrari, we can do Superverse.
Super.
Elio trades coin.
Yeah. We were just looking at that part.
That's what it is?
Yeah, it's a YouTuber named Elio Trades. It's
yeah. Because Tether is always asking for it. Got it. We should probably do TA on Mother.
Most people who actually ended up finding Crown, they found him through Elio Trades.
Really?
Although I'm one of those OGs, Crown was the first person I ever followed in crypto.
No, I just found him because of you, really. He's fucking phenomenal. And now I
Buddy
see
is
where
funny
you...
as fuck too.
Yeah, he is. He doesn't give a fuck. I like that. Ok. Tenemos P. Diddy Holdings. P. Diddy Holdings está viendo mejor que P. Diddy en la cárcel, así que bien por quien haya comprado esto. Está en una clara tendencia alcista que comenzó en literalmente en marzo del 2022, pero no hemos podido llegar a estos altos. Creo que estamos 55% alcistas, 45% bajistas viendo esta tabla. En la mensual, sencillamente, ¿por qué? Porque tuviste este velón, es una de las velas más potentes que he visto bajistas en toda mi vida. Fue una vela envolvente bajista potente, pero luego tuviste esta recuperación rápida y esa recuperación se recargó en el 55, que coincide con la línea meme que va para arriba, rompe el 21 a la alza, lo que te da básicamente una confianza de que esto tiene fuerza y está arriba del 9 en este momento. Y tal vez podrías considerar que hay un cruce plateado, aunque no hay suficientes datos populando esto, pero simplemente por la distancia entre los indicadores, los promedios, puedes darte cuenta de ello. Creemos fielmente que en la temporalidad que estés viendo esto, todo, porque todo coincide con que ya rompió a la alza esto, en la diaria es la que mejor te dice, para que puedan ver acá. Estamos ya por fin arriba del 200, costó trabajo poder retomarlo, pero ahí estamos. Lo que queremos asegurarnos es que no haga esto, que no venga a rechazar el precio por acá y te mande para abajo otra vez y que esto solamente haya sido una desviación, sobre todo porque en la diaria tiene tantas ineficiencias en la subida, ve todos los gaps que existen acá. Lo que creemos, simplemente con los indicadores de momentum y también volatilidad que tiene Farhan, aunque en diferentes temporalidades se ven diferentes. Hay en unos donde se ven bajistas, en otros alcistas. De nuevo, nos deja muy confundidos, pero lo que queremos definitivamente es un cierre en casi todas las temporalidades, que por cierto, la semanal y la trimestral cierran en 3 días y unas horas, que esté por arriba del 138. Si podemos cerrar arriba del 138, nuestro siguiente objetivo van a ser los 155. Si puede romper los 155 a la alza con contundencia, 164 va a ser la siguiente zona a la que quieras ver. ¿Por qué? Porque ese es tu siguiente alto local y eso te va a poder llevar, bueno, este es el máximo histórico, en realidad lo que verdad está, ¿lo es? No, algo está mal, exactamente no. El alto histórico está en 211, está cotizando en este momento en 133,91. Entonces, simplemente queremos tener un cierre arriba del 21, sobre todo en la semanal. Es lo que estamos diciendo. El 124,59 quedan solamente para cerrar esta semanal 2 horas 49 minutos. Con tener un cierre por donde está ahorita el precio, nos sentimos bastante a gusto diciendo que probablemente vayas a buscar los 138, tener cierres arriba de eso y después estos y luego por fin tu alto local en 164 y poder ir a buscar esos máximos históricos una vez más. Así es como lo vemos. Cualquier cierre abajo de los 124, muy negativo y sería algo que probablemente nos diga que el precio va a darse una vuelta para abajo, porque acá formaste bajos y bajos más bajos, aunque tengas un alto más alto. Entonces, al pendiente con esto, pero de todas maneras sigues en tendencia alcista a largo plazo. Creo que es bastante claro con esta línea, con esta diagonal que están viendo por acá. Vale. Alex, we're ready for Ferrari.
All right, perfect. Yeah, I mean, overall, Ferrari, when looking at it, I didn't even know they had a stock. So that's interesting, actually. It's pretty bullish, too. I mean, it's just been in a steady uptrend. It's more evident on the weekly. Pretty bullish. So I mean, overall, what we have here on Ferrari, and this is kind of what bears are going to be watching as well. We basically got like almost like a higher low structure here forming. I think it looks better on the daily, and we can see here, Ferrari was holding that EMA 9 pretty nice, but it was just kind of like slow grinding up. It basically had this last wick high rejection here and then formed some kind of doji. Doji right here. And now, we're falling below the 9 and also forming a pretty ugly daily candle.
Mm-hmm.
Something to know onto this daily closures. If we start losing this 34 here, to me, it gives us a ride to this 100. And this is on the daily. And we can just see, and generally that's how, it works for me in my system as well. This 34 is kind of like the last place for, the range before we break down. And we just see it too if we back test it. Anytime Ferrari has lost that 34, which essentially means it's now under the 9 and the 21 as well. We get very close, if not actually go to the EMA 100. And so that would be the next spot for me, assuming this is, some kind of, lower time frame, lower high that's going to come down. And then, right, if this, you would also assume though that the daily EMA 34 would be a spot of support. It can catch price often before we even hit the wick low, while also shorts start stacking in here before usually gets a reaction if it is super bullish. And we can see here, Ferrari's just like one of those stocks that it's kind of easy money if you just play the trend correctly. Consistent higher highs and higher lows as well. And so that's something I'd be watching for, especially if we break this low here. That was formed on September 18th. To me, this could be a shift here. And then it could just mean that simply we're just going to go down and retest probably some moving averages on the higher time frame, especially on if we view it on the weekly. What I like about this weekly is, on the daily, we have this channel that's forming. And what we have here is the weekly 9s nicely corresponding with the bottom of the channel. So, especially if we start losing, like I mentioned, like this zone here, this could have implications for a bad weekly. As of right now, it seems like we'll probably open up to testing this 9, especially with how this weekly closing is incoming essentially in 2 hours. But yeah, I mean, then it just would solidify, if we lose the 9 on the weekly, for me, I'm watching this $440 zone. For me, this is a big zone. I'm also enjoying the fact that, on the daily, we're just getting nice confluence with this daily EMA 100, a major spot in any chart. And we can see here on Ferrari, it's been a pretty big opportunity zone. Anytime we get major, dumps into it, this front ran it, it was back onto the races. This was chopped and we did deviate it, hit almost the SMA 200. When you see these, when you see like a price getting front ran, it's pretty bullish in the sense that, buyers are stepping in even before it's hitting the major moving average. And then, here, this was a nice opportunity zone. Each of these taps here led the profit on a trade. And then lastly, the reclaim to back test here. So I think it would be irresponsible not to watch the zone, especially if we start seeing, the dailies breaking down, which for me would mean we're under the 34, daily EMA 34. To me, then the slow grind down could happen. And then we simply could just find some kind of consolidation, almost like a base here, before we possibly move back up. And that'll be the key factor. This wasn't either going to be a mean reversion bounce, or if we're actually going to pop back up from a major moving average point, just kind of like how we always have in history. Also, BBWP is kind of interesting because, it's still correcting, but if we start, really flipping up, and it is actually about 15% now after hitting the low of 7.8%. So, if this thing starts expanding while this has this bearish structure here, it could play into the bigger move down to that $440 move. From current price now, a nice dump, especially on this stock, closer to that 6.7 to 7% move. So that's kind of what I'm watching. If you also put a fib retracement, I think it kind of lines into basically the golden pocket retest here. Let me just do that real quick. Things froze.
This cat just shit on me, by the way.
This what?
The cat shit on me.
Oh, no way.
Wow.
They normally do you have a sandbox?
Yeah, I would.
Box.
It's because we need to clean it. That's why. This cat shit a lot for some reason. So, yeah.
Well,
I guess it'll let you fine. So, if you put a fib retracement pattern on the daily, what I'm liking too is it's lining up with what I'm saying. So if we lose the 0.5 zone, right, and it's right with that daily EMA 34, but we're probably going to go and test the golden pocket zone. Ideally, this 100 will keep moving up with price. Even if price is coming down, keep going up. And if it matches this zone here, this could make a nice bounce zone with more confluence. So that's kind of what I'm watching with Ferrari. Overall, very strong chart. This is just likes to kind of go up.
Holy balls.
And so that's why it's kind of hard, on the higher time frames, because I don't, if we even go down, you also are supported by the weekly EMA 100, but that would be a pretty big dump in my opinion. And so I just think it'd be smart and this is what I'm doing, is just watching the daily. If you want, you can flip it to like the 2-day, 3-day, which is kind of interesting to me, because when the higher time frames, more we go, the less we test this 100 here, which just tells me that this daily EMA 100 is a big spot. Usually this is kind of where it stops the dumps and at least just acts as an opportunity upon reclaim. And yeah, that's kind of what I'm saying. So watch the daily EMA 34. Bears, if they want to step in, this kind of would be the area you'd expect this, last high not to break. If it does, we'll probably, break out more and test closer to this. What was it? Yeah, August 30th high. But if we start breaking out, if we start breaking the wick highs, this kind of range here that we're in. In my opinion, though, this daily is not looking good. BBWP is at that point where it's almost like how Rivian was, where once it starts expanding and really starts moving, the chart can come down pretty hard or up. And so this is kind of like is where we'll know if it's starting to break down, if this 34 starts getting lost. And then the second point will be if we lose this low and then get a closure under it. Then I'm all eyes on this zone as an opportunity. And then if we lose this, then yeah, we'll have to look we'll look deeper. But that's the beauty of really bullish charts is, again, it usually just gets supported by massive, moving averages. This one being the 21 on the 5-day. Also lining up with that $440 zone. So strong chart. Watched for this wick high rejection to flip into support. Many different areas, time frames showing that. And yeah, overall, I'm just surprised Ferrari even had a chart, and it's listed because I just didn't know that.
Yeah. I when I found out, I was the same way. I didn't even know that they were fucking a public company. It took me a while.
Yeah, that's and we'll see where this monthly 9 comes to. Closer it comes to this area, the more confluence we have at this being a good spot, assuming we do actually break down. If we don't break down though, and we just come down, and let's say we actually do come down, test the 34, bulls are essentially going to be watching for this low not to break. They're going to want this area to catch support for another test up, being the third tap. That probably breaks us out, leading to BWP fully expanding, giving us that, explosive move up, kind of like what we've seen. We were just more in a consolidation manner here, but that's what I'm saying. We'll see how this daily closes. So far, not the prettiest daily close. So
I'll summarize it for you. Ferrari go up. Pasta
Ferrari.
pizza. It go up.
It only go up. That's it. We don't go down. No down. We don't even suck a dick of the pussy. No down. We don't go down. Just up.
Only gay retards buy the Lamborghini.
By the way, I hope my mother-in-law is not watching this, because if she knew I was making fun of Italians, she would absolutely destroy my life.
Isn't Blin half Italian?
That's what I'm saying. Like her mom is like straight up Italian everything, and she is obsessed with Italy. You say anything bad about Italy, you're a fucking dead man. Like, we go to restaurants. We went to Spain together, all of us, like as a family. That was our first family trip, and she would talk mad shit about Spain. And whenever there was, like, we went to an island where the chef was Italian. She's like, I can tell from the flavoring of the food is so much better than anywhere else. And the food was not better than everywhere else. I was like,
how does she feel about your Lamborghini CEO video?
Oh, I don't think she's ever seen anything I've done, thank God, because otherwise.
That's some of the most hilarious shit I've seen in my life.
With the guy with the toys.
Alex, you haven't seen it, but
don't think I've seen it.
Buddy was playing with little toys, pretending to be the CEO of Lamborghini.
I wanted to come up like, what was I gonna name the new car? And it seems like, because whenever they name a new car, it's something retarded. So I was just trying to be as retarded as possible to continue the legacy of Lamborghini. But I do like Lamborghini.
I can't lie. Revelto is way more retarded than whatever you came up with.
Dude, this is what I'm saying. Either way, let's get to this. Let's get through this. Bueno, estamos viendo el gráfico de Ferrari, damas y caballeros, y esta madre aparentemente solamente va para arriba, como el espíritu italiano de competencia. Vean esto, de verdad, es impresionante cómo desde el 2021 Ferrari ha llegado hasta estos máximos. 2021 estás hablando de que el máximo eran 277 y los pudo casi doblar, nada mal. Estás viendo Ferrari. En temporalidad grande estamos hablando de la mensual. Quiero que vean esto simplemente para que vean los indicadores y entiendan instantáneamente la fuerza que lleva el precio. Va con Toño de Valdés en la media del canal, apoyándose bastante rico en este canal en el que entró en el 2023, en febrero del 2023. Cuando nos acercamos un poco más y vemos la semanal, podemos ver un poco de la misma historia. Tienes al 9 por encima del 21, el 21 te ha servido como soporte, cada que llegas al 21 hay una buena oportunidad de compra y de repente le gusta coquetear con el 20, con el 200, pero el 200 solamente en ocasiones súper bajistas. Este fue el fondo del mercado, para que tengan eso en mente, no crean que es algo que sea todo el tiempo. Pero esto sí, si crees en teoría de vela en Ferrari, esta es una vela bajísima de mierda, porque esta es una vela envolvente bajista, la roja que están viendo acá. Y luego tuviste tu cierre acá, que fue casi una confirmación, pero no te la dio. Luego cerraste aquí arriba, que tampoco te la dio. Y ahora estás aquí abajo y tendrías que cerrar básicamente el peor escenario sería que cerras abajo de 4.68. Si tienes un cierre semanal en 4.68 y va a cerrar literalmente en 2 horas 35 minutos y está por encima de ello, eso sería muy malo para el precio de Ferrari, porque podríamos empezar a poner objetivos a la baja, pero por ahora nada mal. Vamos a ponerlo en la de 2 días porque es demasiada información. En la de 2 días puedes ver que estás por encima del 9, el 21 está en los 462, Ferrari está cotizando en $472 en este momento. ¿Quieres que aguanten la 9, que es justamente donde el precio se está recargando? Lo pueden ver acá. Y ahora tenemos que poner atención, porque ¿qué estamos formando acá? Un alto, y este puede ser un alto más bajo, y este es tu primer bajo con este bajo, pero este es un bajo más alto que este. Eso todavía bien, pero eso no descarta que puedas venir a buscar un nuevo bajo dentro de la misma tendencia alcista. ¿Qué es lo que tienes que ver? Antes que nada, no cerrar abajo de los 400, que eran 68. Después, no romper este mínimo, no llevártelo para abajo de los 465. Si te los llevas para abajo, muy probablemente vayas a tener oportunidad buena de entrada en esta zona de los 440. ¿Por qué? Porque cuando pones diferentes temporalidades, esa zona de los 440 es donde está el promedio del 21, donde pones, déjame ver la mensual, si también es algo así. En la mensual, el 440 no tiene nada, ni tampoco en la trimestral, ¿no? No, son en temporalidades más bajas. Entonces, se ve muy alcista, pero también no hay tanto descubrimiento porque estás en altos históricos. Y acá, una vez más, tienes al promedio de la 21 en las de 2 semanas por acá. Así que yo estaría pendiente de justamente este nivel 462, no lo quieres perder. De ahí no quieres perder el 440. Bueno, no quieres perder este bajo en 456. De ahí probablemente te vas a los 440. De ahí sin problema tendrías un brinco a los 400 y yo creo que por ahí se tendría que detener el precio, aunque nadie sabe, tenemos que verlo paso a paso. ¿Quieres ser alcista en Ferrari? Tienes que tener un buen cierre arriba de los 483, que ahorita nos está dando en las 2 semanas, en la semanal, en todo es más bajista, así que tienes que esperarte un poco a ver cómo te va, pero cualquier oportunidad por acá en los 440 pueden ser una buena zona de compra. Puedes ver que ha estado que tradeo en este canal desde febrero hasta literalmente agosto. Entonces, acá hay una buena cantidad de gente intercambiando acciones de Ferrari. por lo que este podría ser una buena zona de soporte en los 440 para el siguiente movimiento a la alza, no rompiendo bajos y creando nuevos altos. Ahí lo tienen, damas y caballeros, eso es Ferrari. By the way, you guys are going to absolutely kill me, but I got to go. I'm sorry.
No,
I know I know that I had far and do in Superverse, but I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Is there anything you guys want to add to this?
Aside from the fact that I just got a $3,000 shirt, just shit all over on by a cat. Nothing.
All good?
Other than that.
Yeah, all good, brother. Great stream.
No, well, thank you so much, guys, for being here. I appreciate you as always. I'm going to do a shameless plug. I'll see you guys in the group chat in a little bit. And
I have that same hat upstairs.
Fucking sexy bastard. It's actually my hat is struggling, and I need Belen to go to wherever the fuck she's hiding all of my hats to go get me some.
You know, the only person who has more of those hats than me is my buddy Jason, Mr. JDD.
Where's Jason?
I have no idea what happened to him.
Yeah, no one.
He just
No
dropped
one
off he just dropped
the
off
planet Earth. I know, the craziest thing.
He's the only person that has more swipe hats than me.
That well, me. I have every single
yeah, other
one.
than you.
Yeah.
And the funny thing is, I've only bought like 4 or 5 of them. I got all of them for free.
Good for you. Good for you. I'm glad. Alex, anything else?
No, all good, brother.
All righty. I'll do a shameless plug, and I'll see you guys in a little bit. Thank you.
Sounds good.
Vale, pues eso básicamente fue todo el casino del tío Salo. ¿Quieren unirse al Discord para poder hacer trading con nosotros? Aquí tienen el enlace y también lo tienen en la descripción del video. Por cualquier cosa, recuerden, es lo más fácil del mundo poder usar estos Discords. Por más complejos que se vean, aquí lo tienen. Esto es básicamente nuestro Discord. Vas a venir a platicar, a ver el análisis de Alex, simplemente todo lo que quieras ver, como básicamente los sujetos de todos los temas están a la izquierda y a la derecha está el tema desarrollado. Análisis de Farhan, el chat general, lo pueden ver, está acá. Criptolingo, para ustedes que están aprendiendo a tradear apenas, bastante bueno para poder aprender lo que están poniendo y escribiendo en inglés o en español. Aquí tenemos los dos y aparte siguen agregando de acuerdo a lo que veamos. Vengan a compartir sus ganancias o pérdidas con nosotros, como de que no. Vengan a pedirnos también tablas, testimoniales. Les dejo acá esto. Muchísimas gracias a todos ustedes que nos han dejado un testimonial. Streams aquí los tienen. Vean nada más al tío Salo, que es sexy, se ve sin playera. Y también tenemos todos sus enlaces acá en Partners, en Official Links, para quien quiera entrar y tradear con BitGet, que es un exchange que está en todo el mundo, menos en Estados Unidos. Acá se los dejo y también requiere que presentes identificación. Acá está Bluffing, que no requiere que presentes identificación y funciona en Estados Unidos. Mejores fees en BitGet, pero pues si quieres no tener toda esa piña en el culo, aquí lo tienes. Y de este lado tienes TradingView. Sí lo estoy enseñando porque normalmente nunca enseño esto. Acá para que les demos un descuento de $15 por si quieren comprar algo en TradingView, algún servicio o quieren expandir su ¿cómo se dice? Su membresía. Ahí lo tienen, damas y caballeros, así de sencillo. Gracias a todos ustedes por todo. Pórtense bien y nos vemos al rato. Nadie me preguntó que estoy imputado. Vamos a platicar de esto. Es una locura, una verdadera locura.